Of course, we're quite isolated, so even some things we may have to seek clarification for. Ooh, and there's the Fable smokestacks.
Bear in mind here that he does have the permanent advantage here. Even though Jimbo has locked the game down and can get rid of the welders, getting rid of being able to ramp that smokestack.
It's a scary thing to face off.
Especially with the Crucible of Worlds still in play.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we saw this coming. Engineered explosives set at 1. Jimbo doesn't have any artifacts in his graveyard, does he?
No, there's only 2 lands in the Time Walk at this point. It's very... Now, obviously that smokestack can just sit at 1, and Dan, at the cost of his land drop, will never lose another permanent.
Yep. Yes, Crucible's a wonderful card. Be even scarier if it wasn't a Blood Moon sitting there right now.
There's very little damage Jimbo can take. At least 1 here. Getting rid of the
Stone Golem.
And again, Drain is not up if he has it in hand.
He just pops the... Pop goes the Weasel on their explosives. What's just happened there? Is Dan's considering welding things? Possibly considering welding out the Chalice of the Void, because you have to sacrifice engineered explosives to put the trigger on the stack. So he has the option to weld it out. Is that correct?
Yes, that is the case. So he would be able to weld that in for the Chalice of the Void, and Jimbo would be left with a Chalice with explosives with 0 counters on it. So that was the sacrifice to the smokestack. Play the Lotus.
Yeah. Play a Lotus. Handy top deck. Oh, actually no, you may have already had it. You may have top decked it earlier.
And Drain is up now. Now with the welders in the bin, that's a lot scarier.
Of course, yep.
Replays are mounted from the bin.
They're not the fastest games in the world now, are they? Control versus... Well, I suppose it's control versus control in some aspects, but...
Yeah, Mono Red Shop's list by Dan is going to be very different from the Robots list featuring the Arcbound Ravagers, the Porcelain Legionnaires, or Pork Legs as he's known here. In Australia, Lee Greaves well known for calling him Pork Legs.
I'm sure he's watching right now. Oh, no, he might not be. I think he works night shifts. It's... Hercules.
I was going to say electing not to block to keep his keep another permanent around for smokestack, but Hercules is just completely brutal here.
I still love it as a card in general, and with the oppression of smokestack. Sorry, not smokestacks. Workshop decks lately. It just feels like they're everywhere. I don't know. Do you feel like that? So many workshop decks floating around these days, and
I absolutely love playing as workshops. I'm one of them.
Yeah, I was accusing you. No, I wouldn't do that. But no, realistically, I do feel like there's a lot of workshop decks floating around. They're good to play. Why wouldn't you? Jace. That's a card. Straight to the Fate Seal. I guess he knows what's in his hand after the Hercules, so taking some kind of control. Did he put it on bottom? He did put it on bottom, didn't he?
He did choose to put it on bottom, yes.
This is when you'd like to have some insight. That would be lovely to know what that card was. Just for excitement factor.
He's got 5 mana up, so he can easily play the Golem, he can play the Chalice, he can replay the Strip Mine, he can play any of those. But unfortunately that Blood Moon is severely restricting his mana here.
What would you play now?
I want the Golem out.
Yeah.
The only
seems like
reason
the-
for is I don't think that he's got the counter. He hasn't had them all game. Otherwise, he probably would have countered the lodestone at the last point. I would have expected him to, even with the Hercules in hand. And the smokestack the golem would allow you to either force him to chump block, lowering his permanent count, or it pressures the Jace. So it hits him on 2 or 3 different axes.
Oops. What was just played then?
So that was a Mindbreak
trap.
Against the shop deck, very rarely hitting on the first beyond the first turn.
Yeah, randomly good against shops, but I suppose post Hercules recall, very good. And you just know Jimbo is sitting there counting that. Come on.
So Jace Storm here. Now from what I can see, there's very little that Dan here can do. Jimbo has the protection.
He's got the permanents too. Now, 1, 2, 3.
It's still a way down. There's still a long way down for a 2-2. But it's the 2-2 backed up with Jace that you just really don't want to see coming from the shop's deck. Plus the mana crypt there.
And
Oddsy burn. If you do it the other way around, you are wrong.
It's a very typical Melbourne thing for sure. I don't know. It's probably Australia-wide now. Odds you burn.
I think it's pretty much worldwide.
Worldwide now.
It's odds you burn. I remember one of my first vintage tournaments we were playing, and it said flip a coin, so I pulled out a big, thick 50-cent piece, and my opponent was like, let's roll the dice.
Yeah. I hate to ask what that mana crypt might have been worth on the board back then compared to now.
5 mana?
For 1?
Chalice at 2.
Chalice at 2.
Chalice at 2, stopping any further Hercules recalls, stopping drains.
What happened to it? Oh, drained. It got drained. Talking about drain. Do either of them have card? Jimbo's got at least 2 cards in his hand, and Dan
if Jimbo elects to attack, Khan is still able to kill the Jace at this point. So Khan comes down, animates the smokestack, and perhaps the smokestack and sphere hit into Jace. That's a possibility, but that's the only way I see Dan getting out of this.
Yeah, and he doesn't play any anything to dig his way out, like Staff of Nin or it's Struggle City, I think. And Jimbo's probably even working his way up to finding a Consecrated Sphinx or a...
No, he doesn't need anything from this point.
No,
from this point, he just needs to retain the control, or counterspell.
Trinket Mages, two Trinket Mages, 2 different artworks. I'm disappointed, Jimbo. Didn't it? Where did that come from?
The Trinket Mage goes.
Trinket Mage went and got the... Yep, gotcha. I can keep up. Yep, Trinket Mage is a win condition too. Yeah, I think it's Struggle Town for Dan.
Basically turns it into 2-1 control.
3-3, burn twice. No. Oh, ramps the smokestacks to 2. Oh, well, there you go. It's actually quite a good play by Jimbo going to get the Sapphire, an extra 2 permanents for the cut price of 1. Yeah,
My only question is, could he have gotten something a little bit more impactful than that? Even with the Jace, he could have gone and gotten a Sensei's Divining Top. That gives you the permanent, gives you a little bit more depth with the Jace.
Yeah, like you said, with Jace, it just gets awkward, I guess. Does he play a top, does he?
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. There we go.
That something I would have expected from this deck.
When you're playing Trinket Mage, it just feels like a natural fit, doesn't it? I've only seen a couple of lists of this deck. I think it's Scoop Town. Go to the Scoop phase. Well,
Dan's favourite phase for his opponents.
yeah.
Unfortunately, he's gone there himself.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Jimbo takes game 1. Now sideboarding.
Now, bear in mind, guys, that for those of you out there, we play best of 5 here in the Melbourne Vintage League. The Melbourne Vintage League, we play best of 5. The reason being is because it's run as a league. Every 2 weeks you're given 2 people. You say you need to play against A and B. You organise a time with both of them individually to play, and you don't want to go there and have 2 quick games.
Yeah,
you want to play as much vintage as possible.
You hate to go lose a die roll. Your opponent starts Dark Ritual. Yorgmoss will blah 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 blah. We know how that turn goes. Lyle just lost that game, and then mulligan to 5, lose the next game, and then go home. So we've made it a bit fairer and go to round of 5. Have a lot more fun that way, and that's why we all play.
Yeah, it's not so much to shy away from the decks that do work on a very tight kind of schedule. It's more to get as much time out of it as possible, because you could be travelling up to an hour realistically to get anywhere in Melbourne, particularly by public transport.
So that was sort of my point. You want to play as long as you can and have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've found that, obviously, and the McCoys, you at least have found that you've got enough time playing Dredge.
I hate Dredge. Look, Luke is my twin brother. He loves his Dredge, and I do occasionally pick it up from him, and I don't mind playing it, throwing it around. Personally, I've found the deck fun. I mean, he top 8'd. I think he's top 8 of the last 4 leagues playing Dredge pretty much solely. I think he branches out and plays other random things like Doomsday.
Yeah, but it's definitely enough that even if we are playing best of 5, that there is still the ability for Dredge, there is still the ability for Storm to actually go out there and make those games.
Absolutely. Hello, Jade. We're being joined by Jade.
Fellow top 4 competitor.
Yes. Please take a microphone. Yeah.
Hey, how is everyone?
We're all very well.
How many people we got in Twitch at the moment?
So far, only 1.
I'm sure they'll pick up as I know of at least a couple that will be joining us. Oh, here we go. 2. Is that 2?
2? Yeah.
You can get those mats from sneakandshow.com. I believe it's .au. There'll be a link below from the Twitch. If you just go down the bottom, there should be a link there, and they do sell the mats there. Their prices there are in Australian dollars, so depending on where you are, you just have to double check. But I believe they're done by RK Post. Those ones, they were especially commissioned just for the Sneak and Show guys. But you can get them off their website if you are looking.
We can certainly find out more details from Marco as the day goes on, and we can let other people out there in the internet land.
That's right. So we've got Jimbo coming through, and he's definitely going to be bringing the Ingot Chewers and the Vioshino Heretics. Following out the rest of his sideboard are the Grafdigger's Cages, which are pretty much standard for a lot of blue decks, unless you do have the Black Heavy to bring in.
Yeah.
The Black Heavy lists can bring in Jailer, but Cage has just got so much ancillary benefit against, obviously, Oath, but Yorgmoth's Will, as well as Dredge. He also has 2 Aether Flash.
When I read that, I was like, is that?
Yes, it is.
Is it Weatherlight? Weatherlight enchantment? Is that where it's from?
Oh, I can't tell you where it's from. It's got a big red dragon on it.
It's old. Now, this is going to test me. 4 cost, I believe.
Whenever
a creature comes into play, deal 2 damage to it? Or
Aether Flash deals 2 damage to it.
There we go. Hey, I'm not too bad at this.
So that'll come in. That'll absolutely wreck Mentor or Pyromancer tokens.
Don't think it's going to do much in the top 4, though.
But unfortunately, there's nothing like that there. And the Sudden Shocks he might want to bring in, but not very relevant. They kill a welder without letting it weld. But it doesn't deal with any of the larger threats like a Khan or a...
What I'm more interested in, what do you think Dan is going to board in?
Dan, obviously his sideboard running through the Ensnaring Bridges, Grafdigger's Cages, both for full 4-obs, 3 Null Rods, a Metamorph, and 3 Pithing Needles. Now he's definitely going to be bringing in the Null Rod, being
Null
able
Rod,
to shut
that was-
down the mana engine of the blue deck. He's also going to stop anything like we saw
Explosives.
the explosives coming through. Beyond that, not much. The
No.
Phyrexian Metamorph might be able to copy a Sphinx, and then they can just have
But if he's playing a
Sphinx Wars.
if he's playing a Sphinx on you, you're in trouble city already.
Yeah, and the Pithing Needles can just come in as a catch-all
Actually, there you
against
go.
Jace or
Jace, Dak Faden.
Jace,
It's got a
Dak
couple of
Faden,
names.
or any of the
Explosives. Has actually a few names to make.
What do you think Dan had bought out of his deck?
generally the big ones against
He's
the
on
big
the
blue decks.
play.
He's the
He's on the play. So
That does change things. So things like Chalice become good on the play, I guess.
Yep, Bazaar tends to be quite slow. It's not a great thing you want to have in multiples, so he may trim down to one. Barbarian Ring, again, is not going to actually have much of an impact. Jimbo doesn't have like the creature base that you want to be ringing someone to death over many, many turns.
These are long games. Mana Crypt. Do you feel like Mana Crypt is good enough to stay, or would you?
I would
be
definitely
considering-
keep the Mana
it in?
Crypt in.
Okay.
And then Karn, you can bring it. You can take out a Karn. You just want to shave numbers. There's no cards that are wholly bad in the
yeah.
Mono Red Workshop list. Against blue, again, you're playing a shop list. You're built against blue in a way. So you just want to shave down a couple of cards, fit in the ones you want. But overall, there's no major changes coming from that list.
I do find, like I said before to everyone out there, that Jimbo's list, it's pretty unique and new to the vintage format. I mean, it's only I've only seen it the last couple of months, sort of floating around in the
Yeah, it
waters
turned
around
up.
the
It turned
place.
up at a couple of the larger events in
the
Europe
sta-
first.
That's where it came from.
So it turned up, I believe, at the Bazaar of Moxon this year, and then again, forgive me if I'm incorrect, but it may have turned up at Prague Eternal. But yeah, the answer has come through, and it made its way quite high into the US Vintage Championships, which were only a few weeks ago. But we are about to go back down, and Jimbo has mulled to 6 again. He did mull to 6 last
Oh.
game.
yeah,
So
he
Not realised
won the first game on a
Yeah,
mile.
we saw that. It's that's a big
Yeah.
thing. I suppose he gets to draw a card though.
yeah, and we do have a note in chat here that surprised Jimbo's not on land still. Jimbo did
He
play
surprised
land still.
everybody that he wasn't on land still. Especially my brother who played him in the top 8. And he actually, Luke came out and said it was Dredge versus the answer, and his biggest disadvantage was he just had not played against the deck. And surprise factor can be good in this game. Inexperience in playing against things can be just as good as experience playing with things sometimes. And
And there's the Null Rob we said would come in.
look at we could be playing his deck for him.
Yeah, you can just see how badly Jimbo is here. Like, he's got 2 mana artifacts and can't use them because of the Null Rock. So,
Yeah, he's definitely got an issue here. It's interesting that Jimbo has elected to cast the Moxon rather than feign perhaps counter magic or anything in his hands.
he might have an Academy in hand, maybe?
Actually, why? Yeah, with Nullrog there. It's a
Like, that's
Odd.
the only reason I can think of it.
Oh, there's a number of reasons you want to get it out.
Yeah.
Dan is on the play. He is on a shops deck. You
and
do want
there we
to.
go. There's the Academy.
You do want to make sure that your opponent doesn't have a chance to play the Chalice. You know they're still in the deck.
I think, and as another Nullrog comes out, I think it's probably more about smokestacks.
Yes, and that's the ancillary effect too. You don't want Dan to rip the Chalice, so you play them, because if he does have the Chalice, for whatever reason, you may just... Did he just cast a fire off 2 blue lands?
Yeah, no, ice. It was ice. He's tapped it down
Okay.
to stop him from attacking and drew a card. That's why it stayed in play. Oh, Jace. Yep, that's a good card, Jimbo. You can play Jace. So I'll have to ask you, Jade. Tad nervous in the top 4?
I think I'm
I don't-
content with my
I don't-
4th place.
I don't think you need to be nervous. Judging by what you got to play against, just go balls to the wall.
Yeah, basically.
I I do love the Belcher deck. The Mono Blue. I remember losing to it a couple of leagues ago now. We've got a Badger online.
He's one of my mates.
Okay.
I said to join in for a minute or something like that, and he's obviously there. So
Wonderful. Happy to have
should
you.
play Vintage with us next league.
This was your first league, yes?
Second.
Second. Okay.
How did you manage to go in the last one?
I did top 8 last time as well, but I lost top 8. So.
Okay.
So this is your first time streaming Vintage?
Yes it is.
Congratulations.
Cheers.
For those who have just tuned in, this is the top 4 of the Melbourne Vintage League, our 5th iteration of the league. And this is our game versus Dan Dow's on Mono Red Shops versus Jimbo Dowling on The Answer.
Now,
the Trinisphere is always a very annoying card to play against. A lot of the times you get out a couple of mana and you say Trinisphere, that's fine, but it really does restrict his options. He does still have the Hercules, things like that in board. He can still get certain cards, but say he were to get another mana artifact here, can't play it. It just slows you down even when you've got mana.
Yeah. Sphere effects, I think, coming into the late game are start getting a bit scarier. Now we've gone for a Chalice of the Void, have we?
Yeah, so the Chalice of the Void here, he can play anything up to 2 at the moment with another land. Another couple of lands, he could put it even on up to 3, but it's unlikely he would choose to do so. At 2, it locks out Revokers.
Spheres.
At 1, it locks out Pithing Needles coming in.
If he's worried about
players do know. Our players here do know their opponent's lists, so they do have had the option to study them. So he does know what Dan could be bringing in.
And judging by Jimbo, I would say he's probably practiced it a couple of times.
If you're playing against Dan, you know what's coming.
Is that Scoop Phase?
That was a Dak Faden into a Scoop Phase. Dak Faden tends to do that against shops a lot.
Yeah, Jimbo mentioned he had practiced this matchup a couple of games, so. And as far as I'm aware, Dan hadn't practiced at all, so.
I think Dan likes to rely on his skill.
Rest upon his laurels.
We all know what he is. We all knew what he was going to play at the beginning of the league, beginning of 5 leagues ago. We like
Dow's well known for playing Mono Red Shops. I have played against him a couple of times, and he has been on like a Bob Jace Control after Mark Lanegra won the 2012 Vintage Championships. And the first second he said, "Wait," after I cast a spell, just my mind exploded.
Yeah.
I've got something to do about
doing
that.
Somebody else's turn. Dan, what's wrong with you? He's got sick. And then he always goes back to it. So I suppose when you're in love with workshops, you're in love with workshops.
Yeah, you played, what was it, Red, White, Hate Bears? Round 7 and 8?
Yes. Sully, if you're out there, we're sorry. Poor Sully got matched up twice against the Red, White, Hate Bears deck, and it's a deck almost beautifully positioned just to beat his.
Do we know if that's the Simeon's Mum list done by Josh Pochacek on the Mana Drain?
It's very possible. It was. I know roughly what was in it. 6 Null Rods. Well, the Stony Silencers and the Null Rods. A few of those Thalias. A few other Hate-Berry-like creatures like that.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a look at it and see if we can find out exactly what it was. But I do believe that
we can dig out that deck list later. I know when they played it, so
that's all right. We'll be going down to the match very soon, but as soon as they're ready.
So Jade, I guess looking at these matches, tactics. You're thinking tactics.
Obviously, it's almost. There's like 0% chance of me winning game 1, especially since Ben's on the play.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
I'm going to just pass that. On the play, on the draw, like I've got ley lines in the board, which can definitely help on the draw. So
they basically make you on the play. So, well, they do make you on the play, don't they? Really, except you don't get land drop. which you're only playing one, so.
Well,
Oh,
three.
yep. That's
With
right,
the
of course.
workshop,
Workshops
so-
come in. Yep. The Simian Spirit cards come in?
Yes, they come in for this matchup as well.
Yeah, I thought they might.
Ideally, yeah, if they have a sphere, you can just play Simian Spirit Guide or Exile
Yeah.
for the mana. Play mana artifacts. Like Belch has a very bad matchup against any kind of shops deck.
Mm.
Yeah, there's still some tools to make it not quite as bad.
Yep, and so here we have Dandaz who took a mull down to 6, down 2 games and down a card on the play against Jimbo, who did manage to keep his 7. And another thing on the last point that you made against you playing against shops, you are playing against the aggro shops, so where they may have null rods and may have had null rods, unfortunately they're playing trikes and dupes and things that require their activated ability, so there's a little glimmer of hope there.
Yeah, well, there's still, what is it?
13 spheres
sphere effects
and 4.
Chalice. So,
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
No, it's not great, but
No.
And Jimbo here choosing to play the card advantage game.
Yeah, it's a pretty good 6-card hand from what did he name with the Pithy
He
Needle?
named the library.
Library.
It's
would
not
probably-
not a revoker. You can name lands.
That's right. Yep, that's probably what I would have named.
The number of times I've wished Revoker could name lands when you're against Dredge game
Bizarre.
1.
I can't name that. What? Sorry, go mate.
Oh, the library can still tap for mana, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yes,
you can't turn off mana abilities for Pithy Needle.
Yeah, there's certain cards that allow you to turn off
Revoke.
artifact abilities, like
Revoker turns off mana abilities if you name Black Lotus. I would say Jimbo is in a lot of trouble right now.
Jimbo unable to drain, and that Tangle Wire.
And a Wasteland.
yeah, I think this is going to be a very short game.
Jimbo here still has plays. If he does have a red source, he can still ice or choose to ice the
That's Ancient Tomb, yeah?
Lodestone
It is
Golem,
mentioned too.
causing the Tangle Wire to go down yet another counter, which gives him again another turn with another lot of untapped permanents. He can still act in the upkeep to try and get rid of the...
Yeah, we've got to remember he'll have... So everything will be tapped down this turn, but he will get next turn with 2 things untapped. Except I forgot about the Wasteland.
Yeah, without the Wasteland, he could Hercule's Recall or Ice. They're his 2 big ones here.
He's
Because all his anti-artifact stuff is sorcery speed, so he can't do it through the Tangle Wire.
Okay, he got the land down, so he will get
He will get an upkeep in chance
upkeep
to do it.
something. Yep, that's right. Yeah, what Dan really wants here is Sphere Effect, which he obviously hasn't got because I think he would have played it already. Actually, oh yeah, no.
Yep, Jimbo down to 5. Whether or not he has an upkeep thing determines whether he lives or dies here.
Yeah, sometimes shops makes it quite easy to do the maths, doesn't it? They were kind enough to print Lodestone Golem as a 5/3 creature. 5, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah, it completes the game quite quickly, like it's 14 clocks.
Yeah, I wish it went along and just restricted it already. Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry.
Wasn't there talk of restricting 1 card from workshops or something like that? What was the main
There's
one?
been-
Was it Chalice or?
Well, when they printed it in Mirrodin,
No, I
they
mean
certainly
just
printed
recently, like in the last 6 months or something like that.
There's been a lot of
There's
talk by a lot of
it. A lot of people.
players who have chosen that they don't like what they perceive as the dominance of shop tactics, and what a lot of people see as a amalgamation really of cards that shops basically run the same 75. I personally don't subscribe to that.
Well, they don't. And you know what? As much as I hate shops, I joke. It takes a completely different skill set to play shops as it does to play blue control, as it does to play combo. And then there's other subcultures, if you will, amongst every single archetype, shops included. I'm quite happy with it. You know what? I'd like the game to stay exactly where it is right now. It's getting really exciting. Yeah, it's really exciting to play at the moment. everyone can bring in their own little attacks. I mean, I think it was Vintage Champs in the States. That deck that won, Brian Kelly's deck, blew my mind. I loved it. Absolutely loved that. That is amazing.
For those who have been following Vintage on the Mana Drain or on MTG The Source or on any of those websites, there's always something there when Brian Kelly turns up. You can always tell there's something strange going on. It has been for, 2 years or so.
Oh, love it. Absolutely love that.
I think Calvin, one of the TOs in America, actually groups there's the standard vintage pillars, so to speak, of Dark Rituals, Mana Drains, Workshops, Bazaars, and Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I love it, yes. And you know what? I'm hoping that kind of thing gets other people to be brave about their decks.
Mhm.
Like, you don't need to go on the internet and just copy something. Maybe get your idea from there, but don't be scared to try it. Was it Dromoka Overlord? Or
Yeah, it was Dragon Lord Dromoka.
there it is. Yeah,
Or something.
that's right. And you know what? Using Oath
Just
to
run
cheating
good.
creatures, it's not new tech. It's been around for forever. It's just that we usually like to get the most efficient big 15/15 protection from everything, destroy everything creature in play on that turn. But why isn't it a bomber? Why isn't it an Auric Salvager that would just win you the game right now and then? You know what?
It's all about how
Love
much
it.
randomness you're willing to accept.
That's
And
it.
one of the problems with that list with the Auric Salvages is it's a complete crapshoot on whether or not you actually get the Lotus, or if you choose to play the LED in your yard.
That's right.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you get
You
a
don't.
2-4.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
Gristlebrand would have won the game.
Well, it would at least draw you 7 cards, wouldn't it? Or 14 maybe, depending on life total. Yeah, love it.
That's
I'm
alright.
really loving Vintage at the moment, and I think more people should be getting into it, and more people getting excited about it. And we're 75 card proxy for this entire tournament, and so it's completely accessible to anyone who wants to play, and everyone's friendly. Absolutely, everyone has been a pleasure to play with.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. I actually organised the first of the Melbourne
I
Vintage
remember.
Leagues. I relinquished my reins a couple of seasons. Seasons. Let's call them seasons
So, yeah,
later.
you know what? Seasons.
This is season
Season
5.
5. We're in season 5. Yeah. We'll get to 10. It'll have to be a big X.
No, we'll have
Even X.
soon. We'll be beating
Extreme.
friends, guys.
Yeah.
But it's been an absolutely great thing. We've seen players come and go. There were a lot of players that were there with the first one that have chosen to not play. We've actually had a lot of players join up at seasons 2, 3, 4. We've even had new players now in season 5. We actually had one player, I believe, in season 3 come in who I want to play Magic.
Really? Did we?
Yep, play Vintage.
Yes. Well, random story. My lovely wife, she has just watched me play this game for I've been playing for 10 years or so, but she was watching me play and decided, well, teach me. And I've only got Vintage decks, so she gets to learn the truest format there is, Vintage. So
That's all right. Well, our players should be done soon, so we'll definitely be going down to the table as soon as they're shuffled up. But for those who have missed it, Melbourne Vintage League top 4. We're going into game 4 here. Dan is down. Jimbo is up 2-1. Best of 3, so Jimbo wins this. He's on the play.
best of 5.
Best of 5. First 2,
Best
3.
of 3, yeah.
Jimbo wins this. He's on to the final, and he's going for a Time Vault for our first place prize. Tropical Island for second, and third and fourth is sharing Italian Mana Drains.
We have them all right here.
Not bad for $30.
Phew. That's right, the entry fee. I feel like we should have some condolences to the people that just missed out on top 8. I think you were one of them.
Yes, I managed
Just
to
missed out.
lose my winning in for the top 8. That was unfortunate. I was hoping to make it, but didn't quite do it.
I was hoping.
I brought
Going
in
1 and 3 in the first 4 rounds didn't help me. Anyway,
I tried to throw everyone a curveball and go Storm, and well, I'm a bit out of practice.
yeah, I did the same thing. Yeah, I went 4-0 the last 4 rounds. That was I had a ball, but when you're trying to play Burning Wish, that card. Oh, that card. But anyway,
We had like a 30 in the league, I believe.
we did have 30, I believe, and we had a massive range of decks. About 30. Was it 30 people?
Yeah, well, I
playing?
think we had 32 players. We had a couple of drop and a couple start late. So how it operated as a league is every 2 weeks you would be. We had a arbitrator or a pairing person off to the side, and what they would do is they would just put it through into a system, try and get a Swiss tournament going, and keep it going over the 2 weeks. You'd be given your 2 opponents, so effectively 2 rounds at a time, and then over the fortnight you would be able to work out a time with your opponent when you could play. Hey Ben, I'm free on Saturday, you're free on Sunday, can we meet Saturday night?
Yeah,
That kind of
compromise.
thing. We'll compromise. Obviously you report the result back to the group. The person puts it all through the Swiss pairing system again, and then you get 2 more rounds, and that's how you go. All the way down to top 8. Now Jimbo on the play, on his winning in for the final. He's kept, and Dan is down to 6, and we're about to go down to the table.
Or not. Not. Okay. Well,
We're
I
definitely
suppose we wouldn't have changed much in the sideboard. We've got Dan on the draw now, so Chalice has possibly come out.
Tanglewire is more one that I would like to take out on the draw over
Really?
Chalice.
Oh, I see. I'll probably keep him in.
Tanglewire is good for getting back to parity, but parity's not really what you want against the deck trying to do the long game.
Even when you're on the draw, so if you were staring at Jimbo, say, and he has a Bonza first turn, which doesn't look like he has, he's played a Volcanic Island and passed the turn. Alright, so my point's probably already mute. But tapping him down straight away couldn't be... I suppose you tap yourself down then, don't you?
Yeah, no, you never want to play it on the...
Yeah, no, on the parity. Yeah, you want to be always ahead. Okay. Well, we've had Ancient Tomb into Nullrod and Volcanic Island past turn. And Dan being very animated about something.
Oh, the Null Rods didn't help him in game 2.
No, they didn't. Decisions to make. We're assuming it's...
Jimbo keeping the one lander,
turn?
electing not to
Ooh.
cast the Chalice of the Void in hand, maybe hoping to get into some of his mana rocks.
I guess I would probably look at it. He's already put Nullrod down there. He kept the Tangle Wires in, which actually right now seems unbelievable. Keeping a one land hand, yeah, that gives Dan all the time in the world to find a win condition now. He's probably just played that Chalice.
It acts as another
That's
count,
another
another
permanent.
permanent for the Tanglewire.
Yeah.
Something for a smokestack, which Dan is threatening this turn, even with only a 1 mana producing, or a 2 with the Tanglewire after the fact.
Ooh, Barbarian Ring, Goblin Welder. Now, if Dan gets something in his graveyard now, he'll start playing all kinds of tricks with Tanglewire and possibly Nullrod.
We haven't actually seen a Welder
Activated yet? No, we haven't. I was actually just thinking that. Doesn't bode well for Jimbo, unfortunately. I do wonder what's in his hand. Do I see a Dak Faden just then in his hand? Would that have tempted him to keep the hand?
Look, the only thing I can think that would have tempted to keep the hand, like he doesn't have the
Khan.
Ancestral.
Khan's going to eat Chalice in a second. Oh, no, it's not. No, of course it's not. Because Tanglewire set up too. So next turn will probably eat it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to worry about taking 1 damage just to get rid of a permanent that's
right.
already affecting him. Plus, if the Chalice of the Void stays on his turn, it's forcing him to discard when he may still have a card in hand.
And the sideways action. The ultimate blocker, Khan the Silver Golem.
Now, he's electing not to... It looks like he's electing not to kill the Chalice of the Void, which means Jimbo does have 1 mana in his turn.
That's odd. Would you have eaten it?
I think I would have eaten it. Just being me and trying to be as greedy as possible. Bear in mind, Jimbo did just draw a Mox Jet.
And an Ingot, sure. The null rod's down anyway.
No, the going for the calm. So Ingot
Okay,
Chewer's
yeah,
calm.
there we go. We have our first Goblin Welder activation. Oh, that's why you pointed at me. Sorry, I wasn't even paying attention. Welder playing all its little shenanigans. Oh, so the one land hand, Ingot Chewer, and I believe I saw a Dak Faden in Jimbo's hand. I'm assuming that's why he's kept it. But one land hands are always...
Especially against like all the sphere effects and stuff like that as well. Like
Bear in mind,
workshops are resource denial, and having any one mana source. Like,
And here's a Tangle Wire.
bear in mind that Dan Dow's is running fewer sphere effects than otherwise would be
yes,
normal.
Yes, he doesn't play Thorns at all.
He wouldn't play Thorns,
and no, I think that's it. I think it's just
yeah,
Thorns.
He's got the Lodestones.
Definitely has Lodestones.
Is it the full 4 spheres or?
Yeah, he plays 4 Sphere of Resistance and Trinisphere. I believe that's it. I think it's a trade-off because he plays Goblin Welder.
Yeah, of course.
And the Red Shops, of course, doesn't play total mana acceleration with your lands. And he plays the Barbarian Rings, Barbarian Rings are a win condition for him. And I believe he's about to activate one? No? No. Oh, no, he can't. Threshold. Need Threshold for that.
you do need Threshold. And you saw what my favourite play to come out of the Red Shops list is just making infinite Tangle Wires with the...
Yeah, well, that's right. It's extremely hard to get out of now.
One of the things Dan has done, which is not normal for the Mono Red Shops list, is he has actually managed to fit in the full 4 Ancient Tombs. Normally your Red Shops list will only play 2 Ancient Tombs to go with their 4 Workshops, and then 6 red sources. I think here he's elected only to cast 3 Mountains and 3 Barbarian Rings, which means he's cut into his...
And then he's got, Black Lotus and Ruby, and that's it.
No, he is running all the Crypt Emerald, Jet Pearl, Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah,
so he's cut into
I
his
mean for his
business
red
spells.
sources there, yeah.
He's cut into his business spells slots
to run more
Ancient Tombs, which allows you to more effectively play your Lodestone Golem, which is the best threat in the deck. Without the full 4 Ancient Tombs, you'll find that the turn 1 Lodestone Golems are a lot rarer.
Now here's a interesting thought that I've noticed. I mean, obviously Jimbo hasn't had a chance to this game, but I don't think we've seen Blood Moon in game 2, 3, or this game.
No, it's
being the last 2
that
games have been a little bit lopsided, but
it is possible that he has taken them out for those Ingot Chewers and the Viashino Heretics. Bear in mind his opponent is on a deck that is a little starved for red sources. Yes, it has 8 red sources in it, but it's got no way to filter them through.
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't have any way to draw them.
And
not that
giving
it's
them
been
there.
much of a problem for him to cast his welders, but that is a problem you'll find when you play the Red Shop variants.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, look how low he is. He's on 4. Those Ancient Tombs have cast a lot of help.
And the Barbarian Rings as
Yes,
well.
that's right.
They
That's
just
right.
add up so much damage. Like, does Dan run Worm Coils?
No. Oh,
No.
Not even the sideboard? No.
Sideboard
No.
is, again, the 4 Ensnaring Bridges, 4 Grafdigger's Cage, 3 Null Rods, Metamorph, and 3 Pithing Needles. So it looks like he's brought in the full 3 Null Rods and at least 1 Pithing Needle, though probably the full 3.
Yeah, like that's one way that workshop decks can get back with their life because they use quite a lot with Ancient Tombs and Barbarian Rings. Oh, okay,
And
looks like game.
Yeah, dude, it is game. That was lethal.
And that's 2-2. Dan Dow's has crawled back from 2 down. He has now equalised the game at 2-2. Remember, those of you out there, we do play best of 5. So we're definitely going to go for our final game here, and it's looking to be a good one. Which side are you guys on? Bear in mind, blue deck on the play. I think we've also had the equivalent number of mulligans from both players.
We have
Dan's
now,
done 2 down to 6, and Jimbo's done 2 down to 6.
Have they both won games on 6 cards now? I believe they have.
Yes, but Dan lost the first game. Jimbo
And
won the first game
With
on a Malta 6.
yeah.
And Dan, on the first game that he won on a Malta 6.
There we go. Phew. It's a tough choice, isn't it? Can I make my decision after they've played their first turn? After Jimbo's played his first turn?
Well, I'm definitely going for the workshop player in this instance. I believe that
It's a lot more consistent, isn't it?
the null rods and the pithing needles are a lot better than the Viashino Heretic. Yes, there's the Viashino Heretic and the 3-ingot chewers, but you can see that hasn't been enough thus far.
No.
And particularly against Goblin Welder especially, those are the cards that you don't want to answer shops. You want your Hercules Recalls. You want the cards that put them back into their hand, back into the library, anywhere but the graveyard.
It's that virtual card advantage, isn't it? It's card advantage sort of forced upon Dan by Jimbo playing suboptimal cards, I guess. He doesn't want to play the sudden shocks to kill the just Goblin Welder because you're playing one card just to kill something.
And we haven't seen those. I don't think
he's brought them in. No, but it's probably had a bit of a flow-on effect, being that. And look, I actually don't love Initio Heretic or Ingatura as answers. They're great one-of answers to destroy that one problem spell. And Initio Heretic sort of acts a bit like a Dak Faden in it's a bit of a I'm going to win. It's a win condition and an answer. But it's slow. It's a creature. It's slow.
It's slow, but it does come down under Blood Moon. It comes down through a Trinisphere. It comes down through Thorn, which he's not playing.
Would you play just more Dak Fadens?
He doesn't have any more Dak Fadens.
Well, yeah, I know, but no, sorry. As a theory, if he could go back in time and change his sideboard, would he put 2 Dak Fadens in it now? Do you reckon?
An extra Dak Faden. I believe the original lists coming out of Europe did have 2, possibly even 3 at one point.
Because he's got 2 in his main deck, yeah, I believe.
I'll just double check that for you here.
Might
Jimbo,
only be
Dak
one.
Faden, yeah, 2 Dak
2.
Faden and 2 Jace. And in this matchup, you want the Dak Fadens over Jace.
Ooh.
Obviously,
Most definitely.
1 cost cheaper, and you get the additional benefit of being able to take their best threat. Not only taking their threat, but also being able to use it as on your defensive side. Very important. Especially if your opponent's running Smokestack and you get to control the Smokestack, you just get so much advantage there.
Not to mention just fueling your delve spells. I'm not 100% sure what delve spells he plays. It'd just be dig and treasure. Cruise.
It looks like he's got 1 Treasure Cruise and
2
2 digs.
So, Dak Faden, it's a good card. Love it. I'm in love with it. I'll admit it.
I absolutely loved the card when it first came out.
It does. We all compare it to Jace, don't we? The ultimate planeswalker to be printed, and
it compares very favorably.
It compares to it. It's blue. It's also red. It's 3 cost, which we love. It's efficient. Doesn't have all the options that Jace does, but who has? There's nothing that compares to Jace in that sort of sense.
I still think it's very, very comparable to Trigon Predator.
You're right. You're right.
Kind of fits that same slot. The 3 cost. It'll survive the things that you want to do to destroy their stuff. So with Trigon Predator, it can survive a Pyroclasm. It can survive a Whip Flare or something along those lines. It goes in. It has incremental advantage against the blue decks, and it also has that kind of knockout 1-2 punch against the shops decks. It compares very favorably to Trigon Predator, and in certain slots, I think Dak Faden is getting overplayed. I think Trigon Predator could still be used in those slots.
I agree.
So I don't think... When it first came out, I thought it was absolutely amazing. But I've kind of cooled down on it.
I suppose one big advantage I always find about Dak Faden is you can use it straight away.
Yes.
There's a Lodestone Golem over there. I'm scared of Lodestone Golem. There's my Dak Faden. It's my Lodestone Golem now.
Yeah, when you're on 5 life and you want to cast a Dak or a Trigon, you want to cast the Dak.
Oh, we've got 2 keeps. Is this the first game we've had 2 keeps of 7 together?
I believe it is. And we've got a fetch and a
basic.
basic.
And a basic.
Jimbo running
And
the 6
Black Lotus,
basics.
Jason. No, Blood Moon. Blood Moon. Oh, that's
There's the Blood Moon.
Blood Moon and Chalice Void. I would say that was a half decent first hand.
Yep. Dan, obviously, the difference with Dan's list here is he does actually have competent 1-drops that he can cast here. Just land, welder, go. That's a fine answer. Doesn't look like he has it though.
No, it certainly doesn't. Oh, he's trying to blind him with his foilness, I think, there. I think Dan is finding this match a little bit unfavourable already. Oh no, Goblin Welder. So we didn't pass turn. I thought I saw a pass turn there.
Yep, so the Goblin Welder there.
And a Force of Will. Wow, that was a good hand. Is that all? That's all 7 cards. Oh no, it wasn't. No, one more. There's a fetch land. Yep. Yep, that would be. And there we go. There's another mountain.
It doesn't cost him life to tap this one.
No, not at the moment.
Bear in mind, James doesn't actually have
He doesn't have a win
a
condition.
threat. Not even a threat, a way to find a threat. He doesn't have a delve spell. He doesn't have anything there that will actually affect the outcome of the game. And Dan's deck is probably a lot more threat dense at this point. He's got he's got welders, lodestones, Khans.
I believe here it comes. No.
I think a Lodestone?
Yeah, that looks like what it's going to be. No.
No, Tanglewire.
Tanglewire. Okay.
Tanglewire not able to tap down the enchantment, as many Oath players find out.
Yeah.
Turn after you cast Tanglewire.
Yeah. It's alright, I've got all these permanents. No, enchantment doesn't count. So what are we each looking for here? Probably Dan, Lodestone Golem's the obvious thing, and Pithing Needle.
Naming either Dak or Jace, depending on whether he thinks Jimbo is likely to find a... Oh, he has a red source, so most likely
Can we get up what the Pithing Needle named? Yes, here it comes. Dak Faden. There we go. Name Dak Faden. If you're wondering why we're laughing, it's because they're obviously sitting in another room to us because we don't want to give them intel. But we can hear them from here. We might be being quite quiet, but they're being quite animated. It sounds like there's lots of fun being had out there, which is important, even in finals.
And we see exactly what I was saying before, Jimbo not actually having anything to do. He had a very strong start. And naturally, Dan would be much happier to have 2 shops in play.
Yeah. Oh, another Lodestone Golem. This just keeps getting more brew. Well, hey, it's vintage.
That Hercules Recall is looking really nice right now. Jimbo does still have a turn. He's on 13 here,
and he
being
can
able to take 10.
Cast it too. He's on 3 life.
Jimbo, we have just been told, has Dak Faden in his hand.
Oh, and no red sauce. Oh, no, wait, he does have red sauce. Yeah, he's got a red...
It's the Pithing Needle that stops
yeah,
him from being able to actually take that. Dan quite animated against it. He can tap it for red.
And and now if Dan wants to play any 0-cost spell, he could. Not that he would. Well, next turn, but...
It's only a pity that we're not going to see the Tanglewire go away and then come back.
No. Yeah.
So he needs that to be a Hercules Recall. 100%. That is a Hercules Recall. Or he just loses here. He's on 3. He can't block 1. He can't stop it.
And it might also be said that the Hercules Recall only just buys him an extra turn. It's basically a time walk in this instance.
No, he could have 2 forces in hand, and that would put him to 1 if he could somehow get rid. Also, fire the Goblin Welder. So we've got Hercules Recall.
I didn't even realize that we could do this. We've actually got animation up of. Uh,
Yeah, I didn't realise there were any cameras there.
oh,
Yep, we can see your
Marco.
beautiful faces.
Marco with all the tech. Sneak and show, I should say.
That's right. The stream is brought to us by sneakandshow.com.au. Great bunch of guys who have offered their
Dan
streaming.
takes it.
Dan taking it from 2 games down in a best of 3, best of 5, first 2-3. Crawling his way, winning 3 in a row against Jimbo, who was on the play for 2 of them. Looking very strong opener in that last game, locking Dan Dow's out for 2 turns. At least just not able to capitalise. Managed to draw 4 or 5 lands there. He had only 1 card in hand. Managed to play a land every turn for the first 5 or 6 turns.
It usually would put you in a good spot against shops. And I think Jimbo did exactly that. He saw his hand and went, "This is great," and it was great. But
Yep, that kind of hand is good enough to win.
land go, tangle wire, low so golem, beats most people.
Yep. Now, if you don't actually have the answers to shops, you've only got... He forwarded his game plan to a point that he could win, but it wasn't strong enough to completely lock out his opponent from their game plan. And at the end of the day, the shop's game plan is just stronger than your generic blue deck.
So consistent. It's just so consistent. And if you don't prepare for it, it's going to beat you. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Well, Jade, I think that we probably have to shake your hand and wish you good luck, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
This man has got a great match against Ben Hawke, who actually ended top of our Swiss.
Once again,
I think he did it last time and didn't make top 4. Is that right?
I believe he
Can't
topped the
remember.
Swiss for number 4. I know he topped the Swiss for number 3. Or perhaps
he didn't
number
play
2.
Number 4.
Okay,
it was
there we
number
go. So it's
3
number
then.
3. Okay. So he's back there again and fighting for number 1 spot. So we wish you luck, Jade, in your first vintage top 4. But no, you made top 8 last time, so first vintage top 4. Good luck. We're going to take a break, I believe, in a minute.
We'll take a break for 5 minutes. This has been the Melbourne Vintage League Top 4 Game 1. We'll be back very soon with the second game.
Yep, see you later.
Howdy folks, and welcome back to the Melbourne Vintage League Top 4. We're going into our second semi-final match here today. It's going to be Ben versus Jade. So the Robots deck, Triskelion, Arcbound Ravager, fighting up against the Blue Belcher list.
Love it. That's all I have to say about it. Love it. So yeah, Porcelain Legionnaires, Ravengers, Hangabat. I'm probably getting ahead of myself.
Is he playing any Triskelions? Yes, he's got two. That's where the big punishing blow is going to come. He's going to sack out to a Ravager, connect with the damage, and then just dump all the cannons there and go for lethal. And I don't think there's much as far as instant speed tricks that are really going to come out of Blue Belcher. For that, just you're going to see the counter spells, and it's going to do what it wants to do. But the interesting thing here is the draw 7s.
Oh yeah,
Because
diminishing returns, Windfall, Tinker essentially will be a draw 7, won't it? You won't go for a bot.
No, your Tinker will go straight for the Goblin Charbelcher.
Oh right, not Memory Jar.
Now, he could go for a Memory Jar if you're absolutely
So
desperate.
it probably
Depends
depends
on
on
the play.
it depends on the situation. So there's a possibility that he would go for Memory Jar if he wants to draw 7.
yeah, no, he would. He did it to me in the Swiss. I had a
He
pithing
would.
needle naming Tez and. Pithing needle naming Belcher, and so he's like, "Oh well, I'll tinker and just get memory jar with an empty hand," and goes, "Oh look at that Tez," and untapped his stuff and then smashed my face well clean.
Yep, so Ben is on the play. Our Robots deck is on the play, and he is taking a mulligan, which is a good sign if we go by our last game. Won by the Multi 6 every time.
Who's on the play here? Ben's on the play.
Ben's
Oh,
on
that
the
doesn't vote well. You want to be mulligan to 6 on the draw.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way you want to go.
It must be said that I do not prescribe to this advice from the
The shops player.
potential reigning but is the finalist for Melbourne Vintage League 5. So we're still going through a mulligan, I believe, at the moment.
Yeah, so obviously Ben is going to have a massive advantage here. He's on the play, but he is going down to 5. But he is running the full 13 spheres. He's got the 4 Thorns, 4 Spheres, 4 Golems, and the Trinisphere. So,
And then let's throw Chalice of the Void. He's on the play, so Chalice of the Void's a big problem for Jade, and no ley line of anticipation in game 1. So
yeah, and the big problem with Jade is getting to that first mana. And Chalice of the Void is going to knock out all his Moxen. It's going to knock out Mana Crypt. He's not running any Spirit Guides in the main deck, which means that one of the reasons that Ben is going to be so advantaged, even if he is going down to 5, is that there are so many turn 1 plays that are going to stop him getting to 1 mana. Even getting him to 1 mana is going to stop him getting there. It's going to slow him down 2, 3, 4, 5 turns.
Tangle Wire. It's going to be punishing as well. Like buying that first turn and then whatever he does get down, tapping it out so that he can't advance his board. It's not like he's going to be playing a land every turn.
So I would say Force of Will is probably important.
Yeah.
Ben?
Oh yeah, 100%. When I played against Jade, it was all like, you're going Chalice and turn.
Look at that, Thorn. And Force of Will. Wait,
That's like beautiful looking Force of Will.
I know, I'm really glad I printed those.
we did mention it's 75 card proxy, everything here today.
Well, Jade's actually quite new to Vintage. I believe this is his first league.
He top 8'd the last one.
League.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Which you weren't in,
I was-
were you?
No, I wasn't in. I didn't play in that one. I was doing the commentary at the top 8.
That's right. I remember it well. We had a ball.
So, and you can just see how much trouble Jade would have been in had been able to resolve a resistor.
Well, it's a 1 in 60.
Yep.
It's, have you got the land which you can't use to cast anything?
Mm-hmm.
So this makes it interesting. We have... Oh, it's a Lion's Eye Diamond. So 3 mana. What's he playing? Windfall. Yep.
Windfall. That's only 3 cards.
I'd still do it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but
He chooses.
if you look at that Tanglewire Thorn and a Factory, I believe that is. That's
He elects not to crack the Lion's Eye Diamond for blue.
Give a response. Yeah.
being able.
Just so we're giving a response to some of the people in the chat. Jimbo lost his last. He's been eliminated.
You know what? I'd love to be sent into that on if I took a mull to 5 and got something countered. being windfalled into my shop, more acceleration and a thorn.
Oh, man, amazing.
Look, all he's now needing,
It's a Gitaxian probe. Yep. Of
yeah,
course.
all he's needing now is a threat. Like we've just seen, he's got the mana. The thorn's going to be quite literally a thorn in his side, but he's now got the 3 mana down. He can actually start casting his artifacts through it.
Yeah.
Outright turn 1 on the draw, thorn he loses. There's nothing he can do.
I think he just drew a Mox too. Yeah. So Mox,
Soaring,
Soaring.
Thorn.
Factory's probably going to get played. I can't remember what else was in his hand. No threat, was there?
No,
So it's just
I
Thorn.
think it's workshop in his hand, not.
Yeah, Workshop. Sorry, I said Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, Workshop. But
Interesting, he
Mishra is
chooses to
something.
Cast the thorn off the
Soaring.
Yeah,
off the soaring rather than the shop. The soaring can be used to pay for whatever something may come up out
he
of
had the
Jade.
Ancient Tomb there, but I can definitely understand what you're saying. If he was playing a Spell Pierce or something, but they've both seen each other's lists. I don't believe there's any Spell Pierce.
No, I was just
it's
looking.
the Pact of Negation and the Force of Will's protection,
Mhm.
and just being faster.
Yeah. Green Monolith. So
Alright, so
Yeah,
he's making him
well,
pay
gotta
the
pay
3.
one more,
No
yeah,
cheaty
so-
cheats.
Grim Monolith was restricted for actually quite a
It
long
was.
time, and it's finally found a home. It actually found a home in
Tezzerator.
Legacy before it found
Yeah.
a home in Vintage.
a lot of things do though.
Because in Legacy, in the original, what has now evolved into the Sneak and Show lists, the original ones of those, if you go back, 2009, you're talking about Hive Mind.
But it was never banned in Legacy. Oh, gee, I might be saying something stupid. I know it was restricted in Vintage, but was it
Oh,
banned
that
in
hurts.
Legacy? Was that Tanglewire?
That's
was it?
Tanglewire. So he's literally going to go tap, put all his mana in his pool, and
Now, this is one of the areas where Lion's Eye Diamond is actually better
Really
than Black
good.
Lotus
Yes,
because it doesn't require a tap.
tap to sacrifice to add mana.
It's
That's
just
right.
sacrifice. So that is an easy, I tap that down, it doesn't
Every time.
stop me at all.
So that is it. You're right. It's a wonderful thing that.
It's the only area in which it is better than Black Lotus, because Black Lotus does not work under a Tangle Wire.
The other match was won by Dan. Yeah, it's being answered on our.
Yeah, Dan managed to win 3 games in a row from being 2 down to push his way, and now he's in the final and guaranteed one of either a Time Vault or a
Jewel Land, I think Tropical Island.
Yes.
Tropical Island. A Tangle Wire, while strong, really isn't doing that much.
It's taking away the coloured mana. See, if he'd had a Mox Opal, is there a Mox Opal there? I'm not
That
familiar.
is a Mox Opal,
yes,
yes.
there
Yeah,
is.
that would have been a coloured mana source to go with this Grim Monolith. Alright?
Well, expedition map.
Oh,
that
that's not
that
great.
changes things.
Yeah. Because he needs that blue mana so that he can so that he can really start casting things like his Time Twister,
Yeah.
the Windfall, which we've already seen,
Windfall.
but a number of those types of
Diminishing.
engines.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a win condition on one side of the board and a sphere effect all in one.
And that Grim Monolith now tapped down.
Yes, and can't be.
So he's going to be left with one permanent
untapped.
untapped here. He's got to hold
He'll-
back that Academy.
He hasn't sacrificed the expedition map yet, has he? He'll do that in
No,
his
he had to
upkeep.
pay 2 mana for the
Sphere effects.
Sphere effect to cast it, so he couldn't cast it and activate it off the Grim Monolith.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he have activated it during his upkeep? No. Okay. All right.
No, because that would have then meant that his
Everything
coloured
else
source
is
yeah, but
tapped
that
down,
coloured
but-
source is doing nothing for him. He is holding Academy though. He can drop well, he's not holding it yet. But
No, but I would have. Sorry, that's probably what I would have done. Not saying it's right or wrong.
yeah, no, I think,
That would have had- he would have
we're
had
assuming that
access
Academy
to-
is not in his hand.
He would have had access to 5 mana this turn.
I mean, he wouldn't leave it out there simply because he'd be afraid of it getting wastelanded.
Wasteland. Well, I'm just. No, I suppose you would at least wait a couple of turns.
Yeah,
You're
I
right,
think-
actually. You're right. You'd wait until the Tangle Wire goes away and you're not on lethal to the lodestone.
He's
I
got
guess.
2 turns. He's got 2 turns. Jay's not paying anything that's gonna deal him damage. The shop's deck, it's got threats, but it's not. He doesn't have a draw engine, and he's only drawing 1 card a turn.
That's fair.
Don't get me wrong, like Lucifer's
Yep.
awesome.
There we go. We're cracking it now. Yeah, we do have plenty. He's got plenty.
what he's gonna get, guys.
Of...
Well, we
got-
say that now,
you
but
got-
in game 2 he might go get
yeah,
workshop.
actually, yeah.
Okay, so he's
There
got.
was low odds on that though.
So he taps down effectively one thing next turn. He's tapping down.
Lion's Eye Diamond.
Well, the Lion's Eye Diamond
Oh
is
yeah,
a
sorry, that's one
freebie.
thing. Yeah,
The
Pearl would have to be the Pearl, I guess.
Monolith is already tapped
Tapped,
down,
so
and
he
he's not going
can't
to be
tap
able
that.
to untap it. So the Pearl, leaving him Ruby, Mox Opal, and the Academy, which will tap him for 5, giving him 6 mana. So
See,
Tezzeret
Sorry
can
to
go
interrupt
get
there.
something.
I really disagree with tapping the Tangawar in that situation.
Is he
Is
running
playing?
Khan?
Is he playing
No,
Khan?
I don't think he is.
Oh, okay. I still wouldn't have tapped it down to bluff that I had Khan in my deck.
We have all seen each other's lists.
Still
so
do it.
Do it.
Just on principle of the matter.
Yeah. This is coming from a seasoned Red Shops player.
Does he even have any 7 costs?
No, he doesn't
Oh,
have
there's
any.
the trike.
Oh,
This is good. That's lethal next turn.
So he
Jade's now in the position where he has to go for
try to go for it now. All right.
Okay, so as I was saying, the Monolith is just blue mana off the Academy. The Lion's Eye Diamond should remain tapped. For whatever reason, he's elected to keep the Lion's Eye Diamond untapped. That's right. Academy comes down. He's got 6 mana, 7, 8, 9. He can just.
He might put something on the stack like a Twister and then go to the Diamond.
That's probably ideal, but we'll see what happens here.
He
I guess.
can just cast Belch and Belch him here.
Oh, where's the
The,
fun in that,
the simple
Josh?
thing, yeah. That would seem simple. Does he have enough to cast it? No, it's a thorn,
which
so
is
he
it?
has
What's
to
it?
cast
Guys?
5 cost. It's 4 costs,
4 cost, 3 to
Right.
activate.
so it's 5
So
costs.
Lion's Eye
This-
Diamond is perfect for it.
Okay, so we're seeing him pay for a Mana Vault. I wonder if he's going for the Desire here. Because Mana Vault's really only giving him 1 extra mana.
Mind's Desire is very lackluster with 2 spheres in play.
Yeah, but when you face down lethal next turn,
True.
Trying to keep up with what he's got. 1 floating at the moment now. Then,
no, he's had to pay for the sphere effect of the Thorn.
yeah, which is only 1. Manifold adds 3.
Oh, yes, sorry.
So now I've lost count. I'm gone. Preordained. He's got lots floating. Let's just say he's got lots floating.
So
Should have
7
6
artifacts.
blue and 1 colourless floating, according to me.
And we've got a dice. We have 6 blue mana in pool.
Actually, no, of course, and the colourless would have got used up with the preordain. There we go.
Mhm.
So 6 blue. We all agree with that.
Is there any Hercules recalls or anything in the main there? Probably
So
not.
we're
Doubt
looking
it.
for anti-artifact stuff. The only thing he's got there, Candelabra might be nice here. But no, he doesn't have any way to remove his board. He needs to go for a win condition. There needs to be Tezzeret is not good enough.
Tezzeret is good enough. Has he got the one that animates permanently?
No,
Okay, so he's
no,
playing the
he's playing mono blue. He's put
Seeker.
both of them on bottom, both cards on bottom. So hopefully the random draw off the top was the Belcher. Otherwise, Ben wins this, and we go to game 2
Yeah.
off the Malta 5.
But that just goes to show the density of the
Diminishing returns.
okay. See, this is where the Lion's Eye Diamond is going to do its thing.
Yeah, the Lion's Eye
He's gonna-
Diamond could still do its
Yeah, and he
thing,
does
even
great.
if it was tapped.
See, he's tapping it.
Huh.
I don't
It's a
think-
very good point, Josh.
He would have one extra colourless floating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, he clearly doesn't. Reading, it's tech. Let that.
Well, actually, yeah, that would be the actual
Yeah.
printing, the actual Oracle wording on that
On
card,
the card,
because
so-
it's the online version, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Every version has it like that, even the original.
Yeah, just
But
says
things like-
sacrifice.
Does Black Lotus have a tap symbol on it?
No, I think it says,
So it
says
says-
tap. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see what
No,
you're saying.
that's fine. Yeah, because they included different bits and pieces over the years, like things like Howling Mine when it turned on and off. Like that, I don't think that was actually printed on the card at the time, back in 4th edition and Alpha and Beta when it was originally printed.
No, we should definitely bring back continuous artifacts versus mono artifacts. Now, this is one
I
thing.
want some interrupts as well.
Imagine how good Tarmogoyf would have been if it was in Arabian Nights. You lose Planeswalker, but you get Mono Artifact, Continuous Artifact, Interrupt, Mana Source.
That's it. Splash and green in my shop stack.
Mana Source for 1 card. I play Dark Ritual to pump my Tarmogoyf.
It's completely okay. I'm okay with it. I play red just for Goblin Molder.
Okay, so
He's
did we
drawn
manage to see which top 10 cards he
Oh,
exiled?
he quickly showed us, and Ben had a quick look and continued to play. So
4 blue and pool, it's not enough to drop a Belcher and do anything.
yeah, he needs to have other things in his hand.
Is there any way you can untap that Academy?
Yes, he does run the Candelabra of Tornos.
Has he got enough to cast that through?
Just
Oh,
tax him.
Probe is not great here.
Oh, I'd just pay.
You gotta go
Oh
down
no,
to
he's got
2.
to. He's got to pay the.
He's got to pay the 2 mana, he's got to pay 2 life, which is relevant with Trike on the board.
I don't think he cares what's in
Oh,
his
wow.
hand, really, but
There's another lodestone.
yeah, it doesn't matter. There he's picked up. There you go. And Ben Hawke has won the first game.
Did we see what was in Ben's...
If he had
multi-events?
if he had that 1 more mana, could he have Time Bolt keyed him?
Yes.
If he had 5
3.
mana in pool.
3 to yes. Oh no, he needs 1 more to activate, doesn't he?
So he
3 to
needed
cast,
1 mana, something that tapped, an artifact that tapped for more than 2. So if he hit his Mana Vault, not Mana Vault was already in
If he hit
play.
the key,
However, if he hit
Lotus.
Yeah,
Academ-
had he hit Lotus or Mana Crypt, he could have Time Bolt keyed his opponent there.
if he had the key in the time.
We would have been able to have it, but not activate it.
True.
Yeah, that's it. That's the problem.
And yeah, that's one of the great things about that kill, particularly because the lodestone was irrelevant there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All being artifacts, obviously.
Um,
Candles, untapping artifacts, and untapping land.
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Same.
Candles is the same thing. And yeah, of course, the key being able to untap is things like these mana vaults and things like that too.
That's all good.
So let's talk sideboarding.
So Mono Blue Belcher's sideboard for Leyline of Anticipation, which I anticipate are coming in.
Maybe not game 1.
For-
Maybe. I'm just theorising here. I don't know the
I
deck.
think you always do it.
Put them in. Yep.
Always.
2 Mental Misstep, 3 Simian Spirit Guides definitely coming
come
in. 2 Hercules Recall definitely coming in.
I think it's pretty much assumed that he's going to board nearly everything in.
Yeah.
What is he going to board out? I think is the big question we're asking here.
Mind's Desire definitely coming out. You don't
What about
want that
Probes?
card. Probes most
like
likely going to
Probes.
come out. Pact of Negations are going to come out.
Preordain? Like you want some
Yeah,
dig to
that's-
get somewhere, but at the same time, would you play Preordain if it costs 3?
It's probably what I would look at getting rid of. Probes.
He's
would
probably
be
going to bring in
gone.
the 2 shops. I
Oh,
think
the
this
shops
is
are definitely coming in.
definitely a matchup you want. It's worth the risk of not killing them when you belch.
Yeah.
So the 2 shops,
Diminishing returns and tears.
3, 4, 5,
I
6,
think Tez
7.
is fine.
We need to find 11 slots basically because he's not going to bring in the 2 Mental Missteps, the Mindbreak Trap, or the Defense Grid. So we're taking out.
I think that's a massive
Effectively-
exaggeration about Defense Grid. That shop stack plays heaps in an instance. Okay, I think most of the card draw, and yeah,
Probes. Preordains.
what about Pact?
No, Pact is definitely coming
comes
out.
out.
So we've got
So that
2
goes
Pact,
10 straight away
Mind's
there, but you probably
Desire,
don't take out the preordains.
4 Probes puts you to set 8, and then 2 Forces because he is on the play.
Look,
Maybe we
What
should
about?
play.
All right, so with Leyline of Anticipation, if he's on the play, does he care that much about it?
That was what I was trying to get to. I don't know whether you care that much about it. You might still.
Your opponent's not going to be playing any draw spells. Whenever you draw 7, your opponent's drawing 7, and they can't play any of them.
True. So on pre-board, it's nice and easy, and then he's just got to shave numbers for the ley lines on the draw.
On the draw, yeah. I guess. Look, that's how I'd probably look at it.
Ben Hawke, on the other hand, he's got 1 Ghost Quarter, 2 Tabernacle at the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale,
Tabernacle's not coming in.
4 Cages,
Nope.
1 Revoker,
Yes.
that'll come in, 2 Dismembers,
Nope.
2 Crucibles,
Nope.
Metamorph,
Not much.
Batterskull, and Wormcoil.
So
Well, yeah, but you just got to look at the main board. I'd be scared of that main
Yeah,
board
yeah.
being Jay.
he's already boarded for it before he started playing this game. It feels like. So what
yeah,
comes
you
in?
could just take out something irrelevant just for the Phyrexian Revoker. I don't think there's anything else. The Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter.
Maybe the Ghost Quarter comes in. Yeah.
Oh, Ghost Quarter 100% comes in.
Oh, yeah, of course it does because he's only playing 1 land and he's not going to
no,
go get
no,
a
he'll be
basic.
playing 3 lands, and it's just
Oh,
another
yeah,
strip
yeah,
mine
yeah,
wasteland.
Yeah.
That's all right. So he's definitely going to be bringing in some of those and taking out. What is the least impactful card?
Least
It's
impactful?
probably Pork Legs, just
Yeah.
being a 3/1.
Yeah, he's not fast enough. But then again, you could almost afford to shave some of the fast mana off. Like, he's only just trying to get a threat to the board,
Mm-hmm.
a resistor to the board.
Mm.
He doesn't need to blow out and go, I need 5 mana turn 1.
Yeah,
Like, Mana Crypt...
Factory is mostly irrelevant.
Yeah, I think you could almost even... Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Factory, Factory. I'm not in love with Factory right there.
Yeah, and both
We've
players have kept their 7s, so we're going to be going down to
Interesting
them
to
very
watch.
quickly. Jade on the play. Ben, who has been known more often for playing Bugfish.
He played Bug the whole 8 rounds of the
yeah,
Swiss.
that's right, and he's. I love the Jedi Minds tricks. It probably should be mentioned to everyone out there that we change decks, or have the option of changing decks every round.
Every 2 rounds, you submit the new deck list for your 2 upcoming rounds.
So without
Pre-game.
knowing who your opponent is, you can submit a deck. Except for the top 8, you select a deck that you play for the top 8, top 4, and final. So these players knew roughly who they would be paired against, knew roughly what their ins and outs were and what they liked to play. And so going in, there was definitely a lot of metagaming involved and a lot of major deck changes, such as Ben moving to shops,
From Bug.
Jimbo moving from Landstill to the answer. And everyone.
They were the
just
only
kind-
2. Out of the top 8, they were the only 2.
Jade, we didn't know. I think he's
Oh.
played a different deck almost every week.
No. 4 rounds, he definitely played Blue Belcher.
He
He
played it
forgot
a
to
fair
change
bit.
his list.
Okay, there we go.
Forgetting to change your list on time is a very common thing.
I changed 1 card in my 75 for the whole tournament.
And what was that one card?
I dropped the 4th Crucible from my sideboard for a Phyrexian Metamorph.
There we go.
And sorry, was that the only change this?
Decade?
Yeah, I was about to say this
12
decade.
months, yeah.
No, the sideboard's changed a little bit in the past couple of years. Knot Rods have moved in and out. Pithy Needles moved in and out. So, yeah. The Dredge Hate's changed.
Well, the Dredge Hate just keeps getting better and better, depending on where you're coming from. For shops, it hasn't really moved a lot, but the things around it, like cages, come out in and out of fashion. Tormod's crypts come back a little bit more.
Really, yeah.
Okay, so we've got a Mox, we've got Chalice down, we've got a Phyrexian Revoker naming Mox Opal, which is very relevant, being the blue source in play at the moment. The other Mox is, what, is that a Pearl?
That's a jet, I believe.
So I think it's irrelevant, it's not blue.
Yeah, it's a not blue Mox in any way.
And this Revoker and this Factory, look, in this game state, this board state, sorry, I'd be more than happy just to tap and swing for 4.
And bear in
Oh,
mind,
there we go. Mox
Mox
Opal.
Opal.
Hey, what's that card that's got that piece of paper with Mox Opal written on the top?
So here we go. Bear in mind, for those of you out there who may not have played against the Blue Belcher deck, that Chalice of the Void is way more relevant than it would against any other normal blue deck, shutting off fully.
A third, is it?
At least 18 cards in the list.
Shooting from the
So
hip there with my
almost a
Call of 18.
third. And so there's probably 4 damage coming across. That's a 5-turn clock. No, chick elects not to attack.
And it got a lot smaller. I mean, the time of living.
It's that doesn't actually represent that much faster clock.
Actually, you're right.
Because he
doesn't.
needs to use the Mox. He can't eat the Mox to make the Revoker bigger or to make the Ravager bigger, because that's what's
Does he have
actually
enough?
activating the...
He's missed a land drop.
He has elected to keep a...
He obviously had a lot of faith in the Revoker and the Chalice. And you know what? I think that's fine. He can blind name Belcher, just going, well, how many answers does Jade actually run to Revoker?
In the sideboard, he has brought in 2 Hercules Recalls.
Yep.
He can simply just go Tezzeret +1.
He's only running 1 Tez. No tutors.
2 Tezzerets.
Oh, 2 Tezzerets, sorry.
So 2 Tezzers allow him to +1, and really Ben has to respect the +1 because Tezzeret is the only blue planeswalker that ultimates the turn after it comes into play.
Irrelevant. He's got something to swing into it. He's not play. Is there a Time Walk in that list?
No, there isn't, but that's another card that if he doesn't have the clock, if say he only had the factory, if he's only got the factory, he can't actually attack at Jade's life total. He has to respect the fact that Tezzeret will go up one, just untap 2 random artifacts, and then it's a very big possibility that he can just drain Ben for 20.
Yeah, but I think if you just swing into it and take some counters away, like in this board state, he doesn't have to worry.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 2 beaters or 3 beaters.
Needs a double blue still to be able to play Tez. So.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, this doesn't look good for Jade.
So who thinks a Mana Vault is going to be spoken by Ben? The words Mana and Vault.
Yeah, there's the Revoker, and that'll probably name the Tez.
Oh, name Mana Vault.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess shutting off his mana at this point. He's not really going to be casting anymore. Maybe Jade's been sandbagging a land, waiting for something to happen. Be really good if someone wrote down on a piece of paper what that Manamorph is or is naming.
It is a Revoker, and it is naming a Mana Vault.
Yeah.
I don't. You guys are making wild assumptions.
Assumptions, eh?
And that clock's fast now. That's very fast. That's 7 damage next turn.
Should he choose to attack?
It certainly is. And Jade's helping him out a little bit as well.
So that's a 2-turn clock.
Oh, another.
Wow.
Wow. That does not bode well for Jade.
That's interesting. I probably would have cast the Tangle Wire last turn.
We're not all you though, Dan.
Well, you think about it this way, it would have tapped the Mana Vault. The Mana Vault wouldn't have come untapped.
That's a good point.
Actually, no, that's a lie. He could have used the old Tangle Wire tapping
tap
trick
it to
and
itself.
untap it.
Tap it to herself. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so the Revoker is definitely the better play there.
Yeah.
But more importantly, that's...
Do you elect to cast... Which one do you elect to cast this turn, considering that they are already under 2 Revokers? Do you elect to cast the Tangle Wire, or do you try and make it... I suppose you're not actually speeding up the clock at all by casting Lodestone. It's still a 2-turn clock.
Yeah,
I think the relevance there of... There's the Workshop. I think the relevance of the Lodestone is the Sphere effect on draw set.
He's tapping them and playing Belcher. He's still got to be able to activate that Belcher though, so...
This is where Tangle Wire probably comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Because Workshop can't activate the Belcher.
Can't. And that's the biggest problem.
And there's no Lion's Eye Diamond or Mana Crypt able to come on Jade's side because of
That's a Workshop.
Yes.
He's got. More importantly, he's in hand that he's just drawn. That's going to play some more threats.
Yeah.
A lot more threats.
Yeah. And we already know he has what? Got a Lodestone.
4 and 3.
We don't think he's going to
He
play
can do
the
Lodestone, Tangle Wire.
He doesn't have a Trike in his hand, does he? Because that's almost lethal.
Game, isn't it?
Yeah. But I don't think he's got the Trike. He has a Lodestone, a Ravager, a Workshop, and is it a Factory?
It's a factory.
No, with the Workshop, he's got Lodestone, Tangle Wire. There's 7 mana.
Mm. Yeah, Tangle Wire's... It's going to buy him the time.
If he can play 3 artifacts, he can actually win right now. Because he could sack out stuff to Ravager.
No, he can't get it big enough.
He has to play 3 artifacts.
Yeah, he can't. He doesn't have the mana to cast and animate.
Oh yeah, of course he'll have to animate there. Yeah. So I thought he had a Workshop in hand.
He does.
He does. He just has
You need
play
to animate
it.
the Factory as well to turn into an artifact.
I know,
or do
but he can do it itself. Oh, I know, but then he can't attack with it. Yep. He can just sack it out to. Yep.
And once again, life totals irrelevant.
No, it's not really a problem.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just shoring up his
and
game here.
Now he's protecting the Tangle Wire through the Sphere effect.
So the only thing Jade can really do here is hope for a Hercules recall.
Hope that his opponent forgets to play a land.
And actually, he'd actually already have to have the
Yep.
Hercules Recall in
No, he
hand.
doesn't have the blue to even
He
cast
would
it.
need. He needs to draw a Tolarian Academy, and already have Hercules Recall in hand.
There's no Chalice on the board, so Black Lotus.
Yes, there is.
There is a Chalice
Yeah,
south
Oh,
of
it's just
the-
slipped off the
It's out
side.
of screen. Yep.
Oh no!
Uh,
So many permanents. First world problems.
yeah. no,
No, tap
doesn't
down,
work.
tap down the shop, hope for Academy off the top. Possibly wins. Tap down the shop. No! Academy off the top has the
He's gonna
possibility of
play a
ending game.
blocker.
What?
I love your optimism, Dan. We've looked at his deck list. He has no creatures. He has no creatures, right?
No.
But
He,
We
no,
have
he,
the
has,
faith.
he has 4 goblin. Charbelchers.
Spirit Guides. Creature. Check. Mate.
sorry,
Not castable
I
off
take
the
it all
workshop.
back. Take it all back. I take it all back. He does play a creature. He could actually hardcast a Spirit Guide. Wouldn't be the first time I've seen it happen in Vintage either.
Okay, guys, we're coming back to the booth now. This, if you've just tuned in, this is the Melbourne Vintage League Season 5. Top 4, we're into our second game. Dan was lucky enough, or had the skill enough, to
I had the
come
pleasure
in-
to play Jimbo.
had the pleasure to play Jimbo and come out on top, so he's definitely guaranteed himself either a Time Vault or a Tropical Island. If you ask him, what have you guaranteed yourself?
First place? I don't even check what the prizes are. I just want first place. But to be fair, I think the top 4 will have great prizes. Third and fourth are getting Italian Mana Drains, and that's nothing to turn your nose up.
Especially if you're looking at a vintage tournament, like that's a staple of definitely something you're looking forward to. It's something that you can trade with other Eternal players. A Mana Drain is certainly not depreciating in value.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. It's a great prize. Look, it was a big step up from prizes 8th through 5th, because it was cut to top 8 from the Swiss. And I think 8th through 5th got a pack of sleeves, the Hyper Mats. The KMC Hyper Mats, which is nice, don't get me wrong. I think it's nice to make top 8 and get something. And I think 9th place got their
Free entry.
free entry to the next league.
Congratulations, Candles.
Yeah.
Who is the winner of
Of
Melbourne
ninth place.
Vintage League? Melbourne Vintage League
The last
4
league.
last season. He won that. So
Yes.
Got
Has he won
free
another
entry.
one as well? Was it the first one?
No, he won Masters 1 year.
Ah,
No, he top forward. The first one was won by Isaac Egan.
Oh,
I
that's
believe.
right. Luke went undefeated in the 8 rounds of Swiss, and then got knocked out in the
That's
first round of finals by
That's right.
might possibly Isaac.
I think that was correct. Yes.
yeah, that sounds right. to me,
Isaac
yeah.
even changed his old faithful Grixis list to include Dreadbore to deal with Luke's Planeswalkers at the time. He was-
2012, guys.
Yeah, he was one of the few shops players running around there, and Staff of Nin I think was a 4 of back then for him as well. It was a big mana monster.
Mm,
Yep, that was coming out of the year Bugfish won Bazaar of Moxon, and the second
That's
place
right.
player was the very big mana mud deck. And Luke McCandless just latched onto that, and he's been playing that since. He's
so
changed it around. He did think it was a little greedy, and
the
he
one
did up the
expedition
mud.
map, and he keeps hands with like Black Lotus expedition map. And
Yeah.
just kind of goes, oh yeah, I'll crack that to go get myself a real land. Funny times. But
I think I've often heard you say it. I just play a deck with 5 Black Lotuses. Is that what I hear you say?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
But you know what? You're actually almost a little upset sometimes when you draw the Black Lotus.
You know,
Because it doesn't stay around. You're kind of like, oh, I can't keep this hand. Why don't they counter my first threat?
So
Can I cast another
why
one?
don't you play Expedition Map?
I don't want to play Expedition Map because I can't activate it off a workshop. First world problems.
yeah. Well, we're bleeding for you here, mate. Lines
All
like
right.
Diamond. Into Mox Opal. That's
a lot of mana.
that's the kind of start we want from Jade.
And what I'm going to say a lot today is that's a Belcher kill right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see a time twister.
I want to see Belcher play it. Charbelcher. Oh, it's not Charbelcher.
Yeah, I'm hoping mine's Desire even. God, there's so many fun cards I want to see played right now.
He needs one more mana for Mine's Desire.
Shop stacks notorious
Twister.
for not having.
It has to be Twister, yeah.
Twister!
Or it could have been Windfall, I guess, but
Could have been Windfall. This is great. Pushing shops back.
oh,
But that's the thing. The shop deck has so many lands that tap for more than 1 mana plus the Moxen, he's going to start throwing down things like Sphere Effects. Right? That's a big problem here. Is that a Lion's Eye Diamond that hasn't been cracked?
Yes, it
It
is.
has.
That feels like a fatal mistake to me.
And yeah, I would have to agree with you. And no, it's
Like,
if you crack it, and even
Crack it blind.
if you draw your Charbelcher, you just throw it down and win the following. No, you can't untap
With a lot
this.
of players having been able to change their lists every 2 weeks, you are going to see a lot of people make
mistakes. And
mistakes.
it must be said, Lion's Eye Diamond's notorious for mistakes too. It's not a card played in large numbers in many decks.
Hang on. Just look at this. The Shops player. I don't even need to hold my hand.
Yeah.
That's how confident I am. I'm going to win this game.
Hey, pick up that hand over there. That's what this
I
card
don't think
says.
Ben even looked at it. I literally think he counted out his 7, plonked it down, and face down just goes, whatever.
Oh, it's not good for the Shops player, in fact.
Ah.
That was a good time twister. That was a very good time twister.
Maybe he did look at it, and that's why he put it down, because he was that disgusted. I still think I would have cracked the Lion's Eye Diamond. I would have gone blind.
There is something to say about keeping it around does guarantee Mox Opal still taps for blue.
Okay, yes, that's a very valid point, but if you can't cast something off the 7 you draw, and you don't have any more artifacts, then you're playing something else. You've picked up 7 off the wrong deck. Well, this is interesting. Like, he's got so many cards in hand. Alright, we need to move things around. We're going to play some more things. 2 mana in the pool.
What are we looking at here? Possibilities. He's got 3 mana open to him, unless he has more mana sources. He's got 1 black. Oh no, that was 1 colourless. Expedition map. That's a good draw. That's the kind of thing. Oh, another expedition map.
All the workshops.
Yep.
Because why would you go get Academy when you could have a workshop? Just to taunt the Shops player.
Yeah, it's the Shops player that you've just made to draw 7 into a
Interesting, he
mulligan.
elected to tap the Mox Jet to cast a second one rather than use the mana plus the blue floating to actually go get.
Yeah.
That is intriguing.
Some strange decisions.
Iced Kiwi. This is the Melbourne Vintage League is 75 proxy. So what we have is, while we do have a lot of experienced players playing in it, it's much more of an introductory kind of feeling to it. That's the kind of vibe we want to give off. Jade started playing in Vintage
Oh, there we go.
in the last league. We've had a couple other players join as we've been going along. And having it 75 proxy allows us to really keep it friendly for a lot of people coming in.
It's
and
designed
allows
to get people into the game.
change.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people see vintage players playing and just would love to play, but
Sorry, NHCJD. It is unlimited proxy. It is not 75 proxy. Generally around Melbourne, your tournaments will range between 10 and 15 proxies, depending upon which store you're at. And then we do have our Masters events, which are the premier, really Southern Hemisphere vintage events. We have the largest event in the Southern Hemisphere every year, and that is full.
That's sanctioned.
Sanctioned.
Zero
No
proxies. Usually get about 50 players. Upwards of 40. Upwards of 40 every year.
Well, it's been growing every year.
I think we
our
have 50.
No, we did drop off. About 5 years ago, we hit the 51 mark. We dropped down, but we've never been below 40. And
Yeah.
it's strong, and it's getting stronger every year.
Didn't we have the largest one?
Legends was exactly 50. Since it took on the moniker of Masters in 2011, it's been rising the whole time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we had 44, 46, and we broke 50 this year.
We did, didn't we? Yeah, it was awesome.
There's sanctioned vintage, a lot of power in that room.
I think one of the biggest problems this year just been was that it was on the long weekend. We have a public holiday on the Monday that weekend, which meant that some people who go away for the long weekend and whatnot were unable to attend. I was one of them. I was unfortunately in Bali at the time, holidaying for a wedding, and yeah, it sometimes causes just as many issues as it solves.
on the plus side, it's hopefully something that people can actually turn into their weekend away.
Oh, of course.
I think,
There's 3 events. There's one each day. You've got a Aussie Highlander variant, which is 7 points, 60 cards. And then you've also got Legacy and you've got Vintage. So each event gets their own day.
And Ben really seeing the downside of draw 7s here. I have seen far too many of these playing Storm. It's nice to get a bit of justice in the world to see someone else getting this.
And that's game.
And that's
He untaps 2 artifacts. That's it. Unless he
has a Revoker in hand.
True.
So he goes and gets... Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're doing it this way. That'll work.
That wins the game. Yeah.
All right. So
and the other shop was in his hand. Fantastic.
Yep. He just mills.
He's looking from the wrong end.
Well, he's already conceded, I guess. So, but you're right.
There we go.
But now he goes to.
Well, it doesn't matter
his sideboard
unless he drops down.
I'm guessing he didn't have the ley lines in. It didn't look like he had them in that game, being on the draw, on the play. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't see any reason
now
why you'd have them in.
And now they should come in.
Yes, Ice Kiwi. We have best of 5.
Best of 5.
Best of 5. I will get it right eventually.
First one to win 3 games.
Yeah, first one to win 3 games.
We've
just in
tried
case
that
we've
too.
got just in case we've got a dragon player in the room. We have had people playing dragon in the past, being able to draw the game out. And welcome back, everyone. You're here with the Melbourne Vintage League Top 4. We're here finally. We're going to go into Game 4. Jade just managed to win his final another game. So he's brought it up to 1-2 in Ben's favour. Ben on the play again with shops, looking to take his 3rd win. It looks like he's going to have, I'm going to say, a pretty easy time doing it. He's just got so many spells that are going to be able to lock out his opponent.
It's a little bit disenergizing, but disenergizing. I'm going with that. But I'd like to see a ley line of anticipation jump down there, just throw things, make it a little bit interesting. Anyway.
Even if it doesn't do anything,
I want to see it.
I want to see a ley line in play.
Yeah, that's right. I want to see Ben sweat. Let's just make him sweat.
Because there's very little Ben can actually do. He can't actually have it there and say, well, I can play around this ley line by casting something first or something second.
When you don't play instants, you don't get to play tricks. And I think that's a fair trade-off if you're playing workshops, if you ask me.
What I want to see is ley line on both sides, and it'll just all be about...
Oh, wow.
No, I'm on top. No, I need my Lodestone Golem to resolve last.
Do we need that in Vintage? Do we need 2 ley line of anticipations? Oh, that would be that'd be stacks hectic. That's not an enjoyable matchup. I'd be waiting for.
That'd be absolutely hilarious.
It would be. I'd enjoy that.
So yeah, we've got Ben, who's going to be... I don't suspect there's going to be much changes to the boarding process in between the final games between the play and the draw. He's got in what he's got in, and his deck overall is just better positioned against Jade.
And we have a ley line. There we go.
Ley line's in play. Ben can read that and weep.
Okay.
Now, I could have sworn I just saw a contract from below in Ben's hand, but that can't be right. So Jade here, because he can cast everything at instant speed, can do things in response to Ben casting his Moxen, Ben casting any spells. He's probably just trying to wait to try and get as much information out of Ben as possible. But Ley Line of Anticipation, at the very least, ensures he is going to get his Moxen down underneath a resistor.
Yeah, absolutely. It does change things, which is nice. Now, what's Ben thinking here? He's got to be looking at a lock piece of some description.
Well, he's got the chalice. He can put that at 0.
He does have
or,
the chalice.
but if he puts it at 0,
And here,
Jade gets to
Jade
throw it
should respond, of course.
Ben should just throw it down and say, "Okay, I cast this."
Yeah. Pass turn. Okay. And in response, we have a Mana Crypt.
So this Chalice of the Void is not in play. It is currently on the stack.
And thinking.
Chalice resolves.
Okay. So Mana Crypt. So we'll have the
That seems like the worst of
yeah,
both worlds.
it does. It doesn't. It might be
I don't actually cast anything else, but I still get to take 3 in my upkeep.
Yeah. I have a feeling that's what they're laughing about out there.
Though I do suppose playing Belcher, that's probably the deck you're least worried about taking 3 in your upkeep.
You're right. And now we've got a Grim Monolith in response to a Thorn. This is bizarre, isn't it?
See, I don't know why he just didn't do this earlier.
Yeah.
Sure, it gets a card out of Ben's hand, but Ben's hand effectively are blanks until they're on the battlefield.
Yeah.
It's not like he's gone, oh, now he doesn't have a blue card for Force of Will.
I guess there's an argument for it with when it comes to Mana Crypt, that is, not Mana Vault. You don't really want to get your upkeep with it in play without having a turn using it. There's not much he's going to be able to do with the Revoker,
Cast
though.
Something else. Mox Opal Twister.
What would you name? The Monolith or the Crypt?
I would definitely name the Monolith here. It's just extra mana.
It's more
it doesn't
mana.
matter about turns.
And he only ever gets to use it one. Well, no, he doesn't get to use it at all. Does he have a 3-cost spell to play? Does it even play any?
Just
No.
straight 3. He can go Candelabra of Tornos, Time Vault, Voltaic Key. But without the blue source, it's a lot of problems
Guff.
trying to get to.
A lot of guff. And he's named the Grim Monolith.
As we suspected.
And upkeep. And it's odd. So it's 3 damage.
That's alright. So we're definitely going to be seeing Ben, depending upon what that last card in his hand is, probably just beating down for 4 a turn. Now, he's going to be hitting for 5.5 a turn, making it just under with the 1.5 damage average for the Mana Crypt,
Yeah.
making it just over 3 turns here. And Jade not having any blue mana. He's got over the hurdle of getting from 0 to 1. That's the biggest one for the Belcher deck. But he doesn't seem to be able to do anything from there.
Well, it's some counting happening here, so...
I think he's been suckered in by the Leyline, gone, look, I've got Leyline and could do something else with it. But not being able to actually do anything with it.
Mana Vault. It doesn't... It's almost a perfect Belcher hand if he has Charbelcher, but unfortunately, Revoker... Thorn does a lot to hamper that, which we suspected.
Yep, just electing to
Beat
attack.
the face.
No, cast.
And here's a what did you call it?
Pork legs.
Pork legs.
Porcelain Legionnaire, Lee Greaves' favourite card.
I love it.
3/1 first striker. It comes up very, very nicely in the shop's matchup. It looks like he has elected to keep them in there. I suspected they would have been the cards he would have taken out, considering they don't do anything really to speed up the clock, and perhaps could have been used in the place of like a Ghost Quarter or Phyrexian Revoker, which actually do more at stopping Jade at his game, whereas
Which he
this
may
is
have
just effectively a vanilla 3/1.
He may have still done this. I mean, he's playing 4 Porcelain Legionnaires, so
Yeah.
it could just been the guff that got left into the hand.
It will beat a Spirit Guide
It will.
in combat.
It will. First strike. Doing things everywhere. Now we're on Jade's turn now. And, oh, not anymore. That doesn't bode well.
I will be absolutely laughing if he is just trolling Ben to go down to 1. No, I actually do have the Belcher and the Academy in hand. Just keep going.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm not at 1 yet.
You know what? I wish I had the cool to be able to do that in a top 4 final. I'm cool. I'll wait till I'm on 1.
Sorry, what was that? Dark Ritual? Dark Ritual? Cabal Ritual? Yawgmoth's Will? Dark Ritual, Mind's Desire? Ritual? Blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Tendrils? Okay, yeah, that's Storm Trigger? Hold on. Belcher. And Jade taking 6. Not very. He's on 5.
5. He has
This is
to
lethal
win.
right here.
He has to win this turn. Doesn't get a choice or find an answer. Although he's got the expedition map now, which goes and gets him
Academy.
His Academy,
at this
which
point still only
taps
taps for
3.
4, 5, 6. He can't belch and activate it.
No, he needs to find.
He can Tez, but Tez doesn't do anything here. Tez, untap 2 artifacts, being the Mana Vault and the Mana Crypt.
Then he can
Taps
belch it,
both of
can't he?
them. Voltaic Key Time Vault.
Time Vault. Okay, yeah, there we go. I do find that's half the fun watching these kind of games and commentating is the heuristics you got to use to try to get your the players out of their own sticky situations they're in. That would be 3. That would be another 3.
I suppose he could Hercules him, but I don't know why he would really be waiting so long.
Hercules yourself. Goblin Charbelcher win the game? No?
No, because you got to get rid. The Hercules also unlocks the Grim Monolith.
Hercules Recall. It does.
This is where you want rebuild.
Yes. Rebuild. Oh, the ancient tech. I suppose that was as good as a time walk too for Jade. Yep, no, he's still going to go to 1, isn't he? Tinker. Ooh.
And Belch may still hit the Time Vault. May still hit a
Hidden
Mishra's
Mishra's
Workshop.
Workshop.
So he will have to reveal.
Actually reveal.
Yeah, the Grim Monolith does tap for 3.
But depending on where the lands are.
Let's say 1.
So it's...
Say he's got 13 cards between his hand and in play. That's a 2 in 47.
He'll get
1 in 20, roughly 1 in 23.
He will get to activate it again though. After the Hercules, Ben's not going to be able to. So it's. I've already lost count. Oh, there it is. Okay, 11 damage.
And they all go on the bottom. This is the first time I've read this far.
Yeah. Doesn't that just say I win the game? Oh, no, that's right. They go somewhere.
Cards go on bottom, I believe, in a random order. He has 2 libraries.
Okay, we're fixing it up. I think Jimbo there, our resident judge, is fixing any irregularities up there. I think you're right. I think they're random order onto the bottom, not in any order. I believe. You know what? I haven't played Charbelcher. I've played against it.
So it's
and
only
just
10 damage. You don't actually count the damage done by the land.
Ah, okay.
So 11 cards were revealed. The 11th card was the land, so that doesn't count. So 10 damage, putting Ben down to 8. Mana Vault no longer in play. That means we do know that land's on the bottom. There's still one more in, say, the 30 cards. So he's better than 1 and 2 to get it on this next activation, but that's not a guarantee. Actually, can he even activate it?
Talarian Academy
can
gets
just
it.
do it.
Yeah.
I was about to say both his mana artifacts are tapped and don't untap.
It's got a there we go. There's a Chrome Mox there to help him out. That will be naming. No, it doesn't matter. Talarian Academy.
No, non-land, so it's naming the.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, it'll name the Belcher.
That's awkward.
That is awkward. We knew it was there too.
So he does still have a second Hercules Recall in there. He can go and get Time Lord Voltaic Key still available to him, and the Tezzerets are obviously still available. But he is only on 5, so he needs to find another answer in quickly. Though having the Academy in play, Ben not having a Wasteland is going to help him a lot with that.
Yeah. Yeah, he will basically be able to play anything that he wants now, and if he wants to take his time and untap certain things, which he just has.
I wonder if Jade had that feeling, that gut-sinking feeling, that he knew he was going to get it. Like, as he was revealing, he's like, oh no, it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. It happened. I knew it. And Ben just going over his hand. He does have...
I can't remember what was out before. We had a Porcelain Legionnaire.
The Porcelain Legionnaire would put him down to 6 if he were to try and cast it. I think the better bet is to attack with the Factory here.
Opting to make it harder for Jade, which isn't a bad thing to do either.
If he had elected to attack with the Factory, he shuts off the Mana Vault for a non-win, which means he can't...
Force of Will. It goes to 2 life now too. It's getting very tight.
Very, very tight here for Jade. I don't think he's going to untap his Grim Monolith.
And Sphere of Resistance. No, No, well, he's got all the mana he needs in between the Academy and the Mana Vault now. It's just a question of trying
Jade
to find
coming in that this would be very difficult for him to win this matchup. I think Ben is very happy with his position.
It's a good one to be in. But here we go. We've got something happening. And we've got a Dan returning to us. No, we can't see his hand.
It's a Twister in memory jar.
All right, we have a Twister memory jar potentially coming
here.
here, guys.
And it's untapped and picked up the Twister. That's why he countered with the Force of Will, mainly because he was always planning on casting the jar.
Okay. Do we get that, people? That was welcome to the commentary box, Dan. Have you turned your mic on there, mate?
Twister! He's got Twister! Look! So he had the Force of Will, pitched the Tez to counter the Thorn, basically because he was planning on untapping 7 mana and just dumping everything into a memory jar, and then rip the Twister off the top.
Not a bad card to rip.
Well, look, at this point in time, a Hercules Recall still won't get him there.
He needs Hercules Recall and
he needs
mana.
Well, he's got 3 floating. But it's the Mishra's Factory that'll cause him issues because he's only on the 2 life.
Was playing the Tez? Oh no, he couldn't because he just top decked the Twister. Yeah, right.
The Tez he wouldn't have protected him.
Yeah, no. So he had to pitch the Tez for Force of Will if he wanted to play the Force. Yeah, okay, and then top deck the Twister.
So we've covered the proxy question. 75, unlimited, whatever you want to call it. Ooh, that's cost him a mana. All right, I think we're seeing a storm. Oh,
And Jade
Jade's just
falls 1-3. He did manage to get that one game he was on the play.
I think he made Ben sweat there quite a bit.
2 lines of 2 ley lines in hand after the twister.
Terrible, terrible sight to see.
All right, it's time to go smash some faces.
Good luck, Dan.
Okay, everyone, we're going to come back to the booth quickly, but then we're going to be taking a short break, and we will be back with the final very shortly. For those of you who have just tuned in with us, this is the Melbourne Vintage League top 4. Top 2 now, we've got Ben, who is on the Robots deck. He'll be playing against Dan, who I believe will be on the play on Mono Red Shops.
Shops. It'll be exciting.
I actually think I want to give it to the Mono Red list, and for 1 card and 1 card only, and that is Ensnaring Bridge in the sideboard. The Robots list has, I don't think, any way of getting rid of that card. Dan is using Bazaar. He's got 2 Bazaars in his main deck. He's going to find them, and he can get his hand size down to 0, and then from that point, Ben cannot win.
And then
There's no way Ben can win other than mill out, and Dan's not going to mill out.
Welder and Barbarian Ring will just come alive too.
Yeah, Barbarian Ring to finish the game out under a
bridge. He's a troll hiding under a bridge, and that's what he'll do. That being said, though, Ben, the Ravager deck can be fast.
It can be very fast.
Very fast.
If he can get through, he is running the trike, so he can. NHCJD, you are correct. He can trike him out.
Good get.
He can ping him to death under a trike. He needs to be either very, very fast, or he needs to aim for that as a late game.
Totally.
So he needs to slip under the bridge, or he needs to find a way to ignore it, which are the 2 trikes, which can be shut down by Pithing Needle on the side of Dan.
Yep.
I think Ben is actually going to have a very hard time fighting through this. But Ben is a very strong player, and I think he does have a good chance of taking it out. But we're definitely going to see what's going to happen coming up as soon as we take a break. Howdy, folks, and welcome back to the Melbourne Vintage League Top 2. We are now in the final. We have Dan Dowes and Ben Hawke coming into... They've both managed to win their games. Both won in a set of 5. Dan, against you, managed to get win his way from 2 games down.
Yeah.
And Ben managed to win his way quite comfortably, only losing 1 game there.
Yeah, look, Ben had a pretty good matchup. Any Shops deck is going to be favoured against Belcher. Shops on the play is even better. Best of 5 was what might have swung it in Jade's favour, but couldn't get there in the end.
Yeah, the ley lines of anticipation just really not good enough there in the end. He managed to even get a twister off into 2 ley lines.
Yeah, look, I found the ley line a bit awkward in the matchup. You're starting being able to play the game, but you're starting a card down in your hand. It can mess up your draws you have from that moment onwards with, as you said, the time twister into double ley line. But it can be better than not playing Magic at all, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And you really do want to get to that 1 to 2 mana to start everything off, and sometimes it's worth it, and sometimes variance gets you in the end.
Absolutely.
I mean, you saw the game that he did actually win. He twisted his opponent into 0 lands, which is exactly what you want in every single game.
Yeah.
But both players have kept. They are down there ready, and we are about to go down and join them. We'll have the life totals and everything updated very quickly, but we do have, I believe, Dan on the play. Being on the play, obviously important given the nature of the cards, such as Chalice of the Void, but you're definitely going to see... Oh no, we've got Ben on the play. Chalice of the Void coming down, that's going to be a very powerful card.
Ben being the 1 seed for this tournament, Dan is the 2 seed.
Hi guys, I've done some recon. Found they've both kept very land-heavy hands. Ben's kept, I believe it's Porcelain Legionnaire, Lodestone Golem, and another creature, and I've already forgotten which one it is. And Dan's kept lots of lands and smokestacks, I believe.
That's exactly what Dan knows. He's the control person in this matchup. He wants to run Ben out of lands that using Wasteland Strip Mine, and he wants to get down an Ensnaring Bridge post board, but pre-board just a smokestack, a way to stave the bleeding off like a Lodestone Golem.
That's what it was. It was a Revoker.
Is there any deck in the format that Dan is not the control deck against?
Landsteel's more controlling. I would say he's trying to be a little bit more aggro, and the Phyrexian Revoker has named the Goblin Welder.
I guess though, Landstill would be more reactive than proactive. Yeah. Is that a good way to explain it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Landstill doesn't play to the board very much. Shops, on the other hand, by nature of having 60 permanents, does.
Yeah.
Yeah, smokestack.
Bring back 5 colour shops.
Yeah,
well, you can see Ben here has got 3 colours. He's got Porcelain Legionnaire, Dismember, and Phyrexian Metamorph. Yeah. The smokestack begins.
Bear in mind that both players definitely have 60 permanents in their deck, at least pre-board. They're not gonna. No one's brought in their dismembers or anything for the first game. So what you're going to have here is who has more lands in hand. Ben said here that both players have lots of land. We can see a Strip Mine, but they're just going to go down, be on the board, and get sacrificed to a smokestack. And you've just got to hope that you have more lands than your opponent. At this point, Dan, as the controller of the smokestack, and he's 2 permanents up, has an advantage. What Ben can do is elect to just lose his permanents, not this turn, but the next turn, and force Dan to come up with the Crucible, or a way to perpetuate the smokestack and just be happy with 0 permanents until the smokestack goes away. That is an option he has. The other option is to try and fight it by laying, obviously, the lands and everything, and then it comes down to how much life or how many lands Dan has. Dan being on 7 here.
Yeah, life total is an issue.
If I'm right here, Dan has Crucibles in his main while Ben doesn't. Is that correct?
I do believe that is the case. Dan Dow's has 3 Crucibles. He does not have the 4th. He was talking earlier how he took the 4th out of the sideboard.
I believe for Phyrexian Metamorph. That was.
Agonising here on a decision on whether to lose the Mox or the Mountain in the upkeep.
And pumped the smokestacks up, which will actually mean Dan now. Oh no, he was always going to survive, but
It means he takes 2.
it also
Attacks
gives
to
less
kill him.
importance to the strip mine.
Hmm. Yeah, there's no way that Ben can fire off the strip mine here.
He's already gone through 4 lands as well.
I think if the smokestack didn't tick up, Ben could have even stripped in the upkeep.
Mm-hmm. And so we've got the Phyrexian Metamorph, Phyrexian.
Good wasteland there.
Yeah. Yeah, correct thing to do.
Yep,
Interesting
Dan getting
choice.
rid of everything, saying, let's clear the board entirely.
Start again. I believe
Hawklegs,
that is.
you're not going to do anything. You're irrelevant. Who actually still has lands in hand? Ben had that aggressive strip mine there to make sure Dan had to clear the board.
Mm.
And I do believe Ben at least has a shop still in hand.
You would think that Dan would have gone through that line of play with some lands in hand. You would think.
Important to note here, threshold is on.
Yep, so any red source means that any further revokers are...
Wow.
Yeah. We are at about turn 7 now.
There are 0 permanents in play.
yes.
There's recordings of the 2 semi-finals. This is the final at the moment. This is a league, so we stream just the top 4.
You can also find BPAF. If you look up Sneak and Show, they do have a YouTube channel, and you'll find previous vintage content on there.
Yeah, this is the 3rd league finals for the vintage, at least, that we've done. There's been other ones, Modern, Legacy. There was also Eternal Masters, I believe, that was covered by Sneak and Show.
Yeah, the Eternal Masters had not only the vintage content, also had 93-94 content, Legacy content, Australian Singleton, as well as finally a little bit of kind of late night vintage action is at the end of one of the videos.
Yes. Oh, what happened just then? Oh, did Lodestone Golem come down?
Yeah,
and do its thing?
Lodestone Golem
Yeah,
came
okay.
down, Tanglewire didn't have enough counters, and Dan scooped him up.
All right, I'll step out before we come to the booth, and I might do some recon again for you guys.
Cheers,
eh?
Ben.
Sounds good. So we saw exactly what I was describing before the break, that Ben managed to get in underneath Dan's lock. Dan, being the control deck here, really wants to lock it out. He wants to slow the game down, and his sideboard, for those out there, is 4 Ensnaring Bridge. This is the mono red list. 4 Grafdigger's Cage, 3 Null Rod, 1 Metamorph, and 3 Pithing Needle. And we're about to come to the booth here. So I think the main card we're going to be looking at here, especially, is the Ensnaring Bridge. The Ensnaring Bridge, Ben doesn't actually have much answers to.
Absolutely.
The only answer we've been able to come up to is a really big Triskelion being able to shoot all his points at
Yeah, sure.
Dan.
So
So
it's-
he can Ravager Trike, get that around. He can Ravager Trike his way around in order to get it, so he can sacrifice all the artifacts to the Ravager, get the Ravager on top of the Trike, and then throw a whole lot of points to his face. Other than that, Dan is in a much better position. He's got Null Rod to shut that down, he's got Pithing Needles to shut that down, and Ensnaring Bridges.
And more Crucibles.
Oh,
He
and
has-
most importantly, more Crucibles.
If there's one thing that's important in the Crucible mirror, it's Crucible of Worlds.
Yes, so Dan has 3 Crucibles to Ben's 2, making it all the more likely he's going to be able to survive the Wasteland fight in the early game, using the Crucible both aggressively and defensively. He can keep aggressively wasting his opponent. He is on the play, so he can have the shop out and still keep his opponent from ever having a land for more than a turn, still using his shop to power out threats and continuing to waste his opponent. But yeah, Ensnaring Bridge is going to be huge because Ben doesn't have a way to remove it. He doesn't have the smokestack, and Dan is not going to be stupid enough to smokestack his own very relevant permanents.
We're here at Sneak and Show headquarters. So what have we got in Ben's sideboard here?
Ben is his entire sideboard is 1 Ghost Quarter, 2 Tabernacle, the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale, 4 Cages, 1 Revoker, 2 Dismember, 2 Crucibles, Metamorph, Batterskull, Wormcoil. So the last 8 are all coming in. 2 Dismembers to be able to get rid of Welders, get rid of
Khan Silver Golem.
Khan, get rid of Golems, in a way that is not great. You don't really want to trade 4 life for a Welder, but you will. But the big ones are the Crucibles to be able to fight the mana bases, the Metamorph to copy your opponent's Crucible, because if you let your opponent have one, you damn want one very quickly. And the Batterskull and Wormcoil are both cards that allow you to gain life. It allows you to more aggressively use your Ancient Tombs.
Yep.
It allows you to more aggressively take unfavorable trades, because you know you can regain that life later on. Dan doesn't have that option. So if Ben's able to leverage that in any way, particularly the Death Touch on the Wormcoil is also another thing, meaning that he can't. You're not going to swing with a Crucible into that, because it can kill that.
How do you feel about Chalice of the Void in this matchup?
Chalice of the Void. Now, Dan Dow's is much more old school in his use of the red mana base. He's chosen to not include Cavern of Souls. He's chosen to go with the standard 3/3 of Barbarian Rings and Mountains, which means Chalice at 1 is still relevant against him.
Sure.
He doesn't use any spells. He doesn't have any red spells on the sideboard, so that's fine. So Ben does still have a reason to keep Chalice in, even on the draw. Because Chalice at 1 can be a relevant card. Chalice at 0 on the play is still alright, but it's not game breaking. It stops your opponent from, in most cases, casting the big cards, the Wormcoils, the Khans, on the first turn. And really the first turn's the only time you're going to be able to cast those cards until the late game.
Right.
Because after the first turn, that's when the Wasteland Wars and Strip Mines, and that's when that kind of starts rolling.
BPAF, it's definitely in the spot of the factories and the 2 flex slots where you might see Soul Lands. It's in that slot there. There's also 2 Bazaar of Baghdad as some strange utility lands. Very good with Goblin Welder and Crucible in his overall strategy.
There's actually 8 red sources, because you do include the Ruby and the Lotus as well.
I wouldn't call the Lotus, but the Ruby definitely.
Cast red.
We're down to the table. Dan, on the play, has a turn 1 Null Rod.
So Null Rod, very, very good. As I said, one of the only outs Ben has to the complete lock is the Triken Ravagers, and he can't do that through a Null Rod, and he has no way of actually removing the Null Rod.
Zombub, I'm sure you've seen the semi-finals. If not, check out the past broadcasts after tonight. You'll see why I'm not in the finals here.
He couldn't win 1 game after he'd already won 2.
This is not a sanctioned tournament, unfortunately. This is the finals of a league, which is run entirely proxy to allow as many people as want to play.
Hi guys, I'm back. Dan has top decked that Goblin Welder, by the way. He had a hand with Mana Sources, double Null Rod, and a Sphere, I do believe. Oh no, sorry, Tangle Wire. And Ben's kept a hand with 6 Mana Sources and Revoker. But one of those Mana Sources, I might add, is a Factory.
Right. Darth Itachi, Dan is not playing with any proxies, and I'm not sure how many Ben's playing with, but Dan is definitely no proxy. They are actual foil and black borders and all that jazz.
That Phyrexian Revoker has named Goblin Welder.
So it should.
The other semi-finalists, Jade's deck was mostly proxied, and my deck was 1 proxy.
It might have been 100% proxied.
Due to some people lending me cards at the last moment. I typically have it at less than 10.
So it's interesting sideboard choices. Well, probably not really that interesting. You guys probably predicted them already. Probably more interesting things to note is the stuff that's come out of Dan's deck. So the normal things came out. Trinispheres on both sides have come out. Some Sphere effects have come out. Probably interesting things to note is Crypts have come out, I believe, on both sides.
Seems reasonable enough.
Black Lotus has come out on Dan's side.
Dan is an avid fan of taking out Black Lotus. He really thinks that it's not worth it as a non-repeatable mana source when you're trying to do a permanent war with smokestacks against the other shops lists. You'd rather something that stays in play that can be sacrificed. And again, it's turned off by his own null rods and chalices and things like that.
Both players were really trying to keep chalices in, but I think most Chalice of the Voids have come out on both sides.
So I think Ben has good applications for Chalice on 1. Dan has really good applications for Chalice on 2. Knocking out the Revokers and the Ravagers is quite large.
Other than that, well, Dismembers come in on Ben's side, just probably to be expected. Anything else to be mentioned? I don't think so. Ensnaring Bridge. There's the full complement of Ensnaring Bridges on Dan's side of the board, as to be expected, I believe.
Yeah, it's definitely his trump in the matchup. Paired with Bazaar at Baghdad, the ability to just have no cards, have no way for Ben to interact with it, seems fine.
Yeah. I would imagine that's probably going to name Arcban Rev. Or maybe not.
No, with the null rod already in play, he can choose the Wasteland. If he doesn't have a Crucible, or he doesn't expect a Crucible to come soon...
I'd be on Factory here.
Yeah, and the Factory is also the other one.
of course.
Wasteland, sure, that's just delaying the game. Factory is ending the game.
Yeah. I guess you might want to name the Wasteland to stop Eek from killing his Barbarian Rings, but he plays 3 of them and Crucible, so there's probably a...
Yeah, I feel this game is just
0
going to be
point.
a race to Crucible. As soon as a Crucible comes down, this game's over.
Yeah, and Ben has drawn what is an amazing trump in the Workshop matchup. Whether or not he wants to deploy the Academy he's just drawn is another thing. He may think Dan is sandbagging Wasteland, Strip Mine, or a way to cast the Crucible.
I like the good old days when you could just throw down your Academy to Wasteland someone else's Academy.
Or just put it down preemptively.
So Ben now offering the trade of the Ravager for the Welder, after having the second Ravager in play.
Which is something Dan is not interested
Not
in.
taking.
We're not.
And Dan here just looking really for the mana to cast something. He does have at
Another
least
Mox in
one
his
Mox
hand.
in hand. Which just reads Academy taps for +1 blue.
It's also a permanent for Tangawaya Smokestacks.
Smokestacks, yeah.
Yeah, but
He's
Smokestack's
gotta be
not
able to
something
play
he's
it.
threatening to actually cast here at any relevant point.
We see a Dismember here on the Welder.
The Welder. Interesting.
Ben ready to
Get the
start
beats on.
jamming, get in there. Got an attack for 4 here. The Pithing Needle really slowing down the clock here. Stopping 3 damage this turn for the next.
That being said, he is taking 4 here.
Thorn. Yeah, if any spheres were going to stay in, it'd be the Thorns on Ben's side. They're
Yeah.
almost one-sided. Could be a quick second game up to Ben from the looks of it. The Tangawai is very good in this spot.
It's not tapped down anything relevant, as you can see. The Tangle Wire is completely gone on his side.
That's the way those triggers work, right? He gets to tap it before he sacks it.
Correct. Because his stuff goes on the stack first.
That
so.
is right. Here we are. The Crucible of Worlds has arrived.
Actually, it's interesting it's come down on that side of the board, isn't it? Because
It almost feels too slow here.
It's a Workshop back, which is 6 mana next turn. 6 mana gets him everything he wants.
yeah, pretty much anything now. If he has that Ensnaring Bridge in his hand now,
Again,
it
only
saves
3
him.
cards in hand, so
A second
Ooh.
Tangawaya.
that doesn't actually stop a bridge coming down. Plays the Workshop from hand, drops Moxen, and bridge.
So it goes down to
Null Rod though.
If he has it in hand. Yeah, you can just drop the Moxen to drop the number of cards in his hand.
Oh, yeah.
No rod doesn't stop him.
But there's a Thorn out. He can't play. It's
It's a 3 cost.
It's yeah.
important that he's playing the shop from the yard instead of the one from his hand.
Yes, Crucible costs 4 at this point. With the Thorn in play, it costs 4. Yeah, so it looks like Ben's really just been able to get underneath a lot more effectively than I had initially thought his deck perhaps could have. Before this game, at the end of the last one, I said that I expected Dan to take this comfortably, but it looks like he's 2 games down.
Look, 2-cost 1/1s are very powerful cards.
He did come back from 2 games down against you, however, so we can't count out Dan just yet.
I was helping his mana base. I was supplying him with mountains.
Dan will be one of the first to tell you that creatures are a problem for him. Just little dorks. They beat up his specific deck. It's not littered with lots of creatures or anything like that to block out. Does the Khan save him?
Buys him 1 turn. It can block the Revoker,
does.
put him to 1.
And next turn, then he has more because he'll be able to have a Crucible creature and a
No, he
Null Rod
can't
creature.
because there is
Oh no, there's not.
Play.
There's not. I was about to actually say that a Null Rod creature. No, that does not work.
You've got to attack here if you're Ben, right?
100%. It's a 0/8. Put him down to 1. It stops him off Ancient Tomb.
The Revoker does die, though.
No, it doesn't. It's a 0/8.
Oh, right. Jeez, I'm good at this game. Double Wasteland for the shops.
Crucibles brings one of them back, I guess.
Just getting the permanents down.
Yeah.
Not that it really does anything effective. The 2 Mox in there are free taps. Or not. Much better.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 cards in hand. Can he draw shop?
It's got to be Ensnaring
The
Bridge.
factories are
doesn't it?
turned off by the Pithing Needle. JD. And
Yeah.
a quick scoop into game 3.
It had to be Ensnaring Bridge. I'm pretty sure it's the only card that would have saved him. Yeah.
That's alright. So
maybe,
Dan,
maybe this is just how Dan likes to play. Lose the first 2 and smash out the next 3.
he just
been
comes from
efficient.
behind for a more dramatic victory.
Has he-
Start the montage music now, guys.
Has he mulliganed to 6 both of these games, or was that just in our match?
No, just in your match. He needs
No.
to start mulliganing.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, they were
For
both
those
on
who
7.
weren't here earlier, Dan and Jimbo's match was defined by the player on the draw who mulliganed won the game.
Yeah. Every game except I think game 3, I was on the draw. He was on the draw and won it. No, he was. Oh, I don't know.
Yes,
something.
Darth, we've noted that, and we have had someone go and speak to the judge about that. But that'll be more looked out for.
Coming back to the booth. Get to see Ben's pretty face.
Howdy,
Set up.
folks, and welcome back to the Melbourne Vintage League Top 4. This is, in fact, the finals. We are playing best of 5, or first to 3. First to 3 wins is the best way to do it,
Yeah.
just in case we have any draws.
We almost had a draw in myself against Dan, I will admit.
Okay.
We were both on less than 5. There was a rolling earthquake. Didn't end up happening.
We actually are playing first to 3, Unlimited Proxies League. Both of our players here do seem to have pretty full decks, though.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be there, bar a couple of workshops on the side of Ben. We are not running with the Scry rule. That is coming into effect sometime soon, I believe.
In the next league.
In the
yeah.
next league.
It
So-
officially starts in Zendika, yeah?
Yeah, when the Zendikar pre-release starts, that's when the rule starts.
Yeah, so when it becomes an official Magic rule, we'll adopt it with our league. But currently, we are playing with the. Well,
Paris Mulligan.
I guess it's standard now. No, I was going with the. I guess it's standard now. The top of the Swiss gets to choose whether they play or draw.
Yeah, the Swiss play draw rule is in effect, even though it's not a sanctioned tournament. It is very good, and we have 1 and 2 here on the table, so it could have been relevant. I know-
Is that the first time that's happened? We've had 1v2 in a final?
I think it might be.
It must be, because every other time I believe it's actually. I remember in the last league, or was it the one before, that I top 8'd, 1, 2, 3, and 4 got knocked out in the
Oh,
top
wow.
8, and then 5, 6, 7, and 8 played
we
for the
are,
top 4 in the finals.
Both players keeping a 7. Interesting in this one, in the top 8, the first 4 players alphabetically won their games.
I didn't go do a recon. Sorry, guys.
You saying we have no information about these hands?
I don't. I'll tell you
Dan's
now. They
had a-
didn't do any sideboard changing.
Dan's had a welder.
Dan has a welder. Ben's got a fast Thorn and Legionnaire.
It's fast.
I
if
really
nothing else.
feel worried that Thorns are in there. I
like
I know why Thorns are in there over the Spheres, but just coming from the Smokestack player's perspective, where I only have 6 Spheres, Thorn is so irrelevant in the workshop mirror.
Makes you wonder if he's brought in the full package of cards we expected. The Batterskull, the Wormcoil Engine, the Dismembers.
Batterskull definitely came in. I didn't see Worm Coil
Okay.
come in.
I can guarantee you.
I don't,
I'm
think,
sure
I
it
don't
would've.
think one comes in without the other.
Yeah. It being one person, it's hard to see what everything's happening there, but I definitely saw Batterskull come in. Actually, you make a good point about Thorns, though. We're playing in such a heavy creature-based metagame at the moment that, with the exceptions of Belcher,
This is an incredibly fast start here from Ben. We've got a Porcelain Legionnaire, 2 Thorn effects, and a Crucible of Worlds.
Thorn effect with a welder now and a Bazaar. Anything he wants to play.
and Talarian Academy too.
Interesting, he can't even put a Mox out because of the 2 Thorns.
Mm.
We're going to see a end of turn Bazaar activation here from Dan.
What a...
Yes, dig.
Oh no, another Wasteland.
No, he's going to put a Lodestone or something. If he can manage to actually put a bridge in there, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, so he needs to find a threat and a second land, and then play a Mox, swap it out. Tangle Wire.
Null Rod.
And Null Rod, and one more.
Bridge.
Duff, no, the Serum Powder will not let you scry. It's if your hand has less than 7 cards, the Serum Powder still keeps you at 7 cards.
But if you mulligan, then scry, you still get the mulligan, then serum, then mulligan.
The checking point is whether you have less than 7 cards at the end of your mulligans.
It does check
Is it
after
fewer
you
than
said
7, or is
you're
it
gonna
fewer
keep.
than the number of cards you started with?
Fewer than 7.
Cool.
Is there formats where you start with less? Here we see a Triskelion
Vanguard.
killing a Goblin Welder here.
Oh dear.
Vanguard may in fact have special rules.
Oh,
Shop.
That's a good top deck.
Needle.
Going
Put the needle on the record.
Yeah.
I feel Ben might be responding here. Yep.
I didn't know Pithing Needle shocked you.
He's playing one of those new fancy shock needles.
Yeah.
Coming across for 4. And yet all of this could change the instant Dan draws a Ensnaring Bridge. We see 4 cards in his hand here. If he plays land, plays Ensnaring Bridge, he's down to 2 cards in hand. The Porcelain Legionnaire can't attack.
Did Ben elect not to wasteland the shop, or where are we?
I think you are correct. Or did he play another land? I think you're correct. I think he missed his Crucible.
Yeah, he's just played an Ancient Tomb from hand.
He
there.
did. Okay, Crucible of the Worlds.
He's got 1 turn to find something.
Well, I guess will he play his Bazaar
Benacross
from
down
the
to 4.
play his Bazaar from the bin? Dig.
Could be that. It could be
If he wastes them here, he can't, though.
if he wastes him, he can.
Needle might have named Wasteland. That's correct.
He can play the Barbarian Ring. Doesn't have Threshold, importantly.
When do you have to name your card when you play Pithing Needle?
When it comes into play.
It does actually say when. So it
So it is
triggers when it
resolved?
comes into play.
Your opponent can respond with it on the stack, but once it's entered the battlefield, that's it. The card's named, and you can't respond up after that
Okay.
by activating
And
the
it
card.
looks like Dan might not have been able to find that
What are we discarding here? A Tangawire, something, and a Needle. And we have an Ensnaring Bridge.
There it is.
Cards in hand check for Dan, just the one.
Just the one. So nothing can attack. This is where Dan wants to be.
Can the Trike still
Will
attack this
Trike
turn?
still attack?
Yes, Trike can still attack.
Equal is fine. That's important. If a second Trike comes down, 3 counters is perfect.
A Worm Coil Engine's not attacking anytime soon.
And from this point on, nothing can attack. Dan has the Bazaar to lock his hand at 0 cards.
Correct.
Where's the Uber mask, Dan?
Now we get to play Magic.
Can we
And
Can
there's
we
the,
ask
that's
Dan
the out
to-
for the Trike. Gone.
This is a 100% lock. Ben has 0 ants in his deck, except Dan misplaying.
Or
Uh,
Dan.
Dan has his win condition
Milling.
in play already. He has his Barbarian, Ring, he
Barbarian
has his
Ring.
Mountain, he has his 7 cards in his graveyard. He's
and
going to be
and the Crucible?
8 turns of making sure he has no cards in hand.
Can we think of any outs for Ben?
Milling.
Milling.
Will he mill him before 8 activations of
Uh,
Barbarian Ring?
Yeah, there is no kind of twisting of his cards that we can think of any way for Ben to win this game now, I believe.
I'm just going to have another
Trike.
quick look through his list.
He
There's an
can play-
Elrod in play.
Is there no, there's no odd. Yep, no.
What do we got here? We have Phyrexian Revoker can name Barbarian Ring. That'll slow the
Non-land.
game down even
Phyrexian
more.
Revoker is non-land.
No.
Never mind.
Yeah. We're good at this game.
Yeah, look, there is 0 cards in his 75 that he can.
We do have someone has an answer. He needs to metamorph the Needle, naming Barbarian Ring.
Oh wow! And then what do we do? Do we stop and just
And
count?
then it's Dan's turn to just play all the permanents and get into a smoke
The
stack.
smoke stage.
No, you see, Ben
I think
can
we
then-
then count the
Ben
libraries.
can
don't we?
eventually weld. Ben can weld out the pithing needle.
You mean Dan?
Dan.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
What
You're
is
right.
that card?
Well
is that
done.
another ensnaring bridge? Different artwork.
Oh, that's
Oh.
terrible.
Dan. I think he'll be upset with that. He likes all of his cards to be foil.
I think Dan is very happy right now.
Well, it was a scary board state for him. Oh well.
For those who have just joined us, this is the Melbourne Vintage League final. We have Dan Dow's with mono red workshops on the left. So old style mono red with welders as the only red card, using Barbarian Ring and Mountains as the red sources. And then on the right hand side, you've got Ben Hawke, who's on the more popular Robots deck, played by Ephro and a couple other guys in the Vintage Super League.
Important to note: no Hangerback Walker in Ben's list.
In either of the lists.
It was just arrived on the scene before we had to.
Yeah, there wasn't very much time
Nah.
for testing.
There was one person in the top 8 who did include it.
Yeah,
and I was pretty impressed with that. I thought it was very cool.
he'd been playing Affinity in the league for the past 16 weeks. So
I was in hospital recently and started playing a lot of Magic Online because what else can you do with very little internet?
of course,
And Hangerback Walker is everywhere there.
No.
I'm considering playing one in Control. It's just that good.
Trichomage.
Trinket Mage can get Hangerback.
Wow, isn't it?
We just broke the format.
I
Ladies
don't know
and
about
gentlemen,
broken, but yeah.
buy Trinket Mages.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this kind of setup Dan has here with the inevitability. Darth Atachi, Dan does not have any red sideboard cards. I have been speaking with him, and a lot of players don't. A lot of them don't have. Sorry, Dan doesn't believe the red cards add enough. That the ensnaring bridges you see.
Ben will scoop him up here. So Dan chose not to put a counter on his smokestack there. There's no penalty for missing a trigger like that one, unless there's counters on it and it's asking you to sacrifice. No red sideboard cards. Josh is trying very hard to get him to play.
I believe the answer to that is 0 Blightsteel Colossuses.
Looking through the list, there is no Blightsteel Colossus, unfortunately.
Yes, so this is the robots list with Triskelion and Arcbound Ravager as its kind of primary identification cards. It's not running anything to help get out the larger cast and cost things. He's not using Forge Masters, and he's not using Metal Workers, so there's no need for him to run the big creatures.
Yeah, it's a very honest strategy. You can see that with the 3 extra, in fact 7 2-drop. There's a full 10 2-drop threats in the deck.
It's actually really interesting that the list Ben is using was really originally ported over to Vintage in 2013 when it came from what was the Magic Online format that was Vintage before?
Classic.
Classic. It was a very big Classic list when you could use 4 workshops, 4 memory jars,
Oh.
and then
Yeah, we
I
use that
believe it
format to
was
break
a
some
guy
things.
called Adrian Becker made top 8 at the Vintage Champs in Gen Con in 2013, and that was really an eye-opener, and a lot of
Right.
people played it. And then he managed to make top 8 at the next big event at the first NYSE. So that's kind of where that list came from. Dan Dow's still a workshop deck, mono red. It comes from really about 2006, kind of around the time Brian DeMars will talk to you about
I think I heard him claim 2004 earlier today.
2004.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
guessing
Which
that
is
a
what?
little
That's
bit.
when Mirrodin came out, right?
Dan
About that
Dow's
year?
is
Yeah, it's
famous for
about then.
playing this mono red list here in Melbourne.
Famous in Melbourne. Which
You
is,
can actually find, if you go to morphling.d and look at his name, there's a list that he's playing, mono red. It would be within maybe 20 cards of what he's playing tonight.
I
from
remember.
2006 or 2008.
I do remember when he won Legends, which was Masters.
2010.
So there we go. So 2010, 5 years ago. He was playing this, but I believe it was Ubermask was all the tech.
Jade.
But we didn't have lodestone golems and things like this then either. So, or maybe we just had them. I
Yeah, and
can't remember.
Lodestone Golem's one of the big cards that's really stomped out using coloured mana symbols in workshops. It was alright when you played 6 spheres, and then everything else didn't affect your actual spells.
Yeah.
But once you went to 13 spheres, which you could do with workshops,
Oh, we've got a mulligan.
JD, Ben may have had that out, but then that would also be answered by Dan's Goblin Welders eventually. So easier. He felt it was easier to scoop him up. Is this the first mulligan of this set of games?
I do believe so.
Oh wow.
So is this Ben's mulligan or
This
Dan's?
is Dan's mulligan.
Dan's mulligan.
Ben looks to be happy with his hand.
Dan, he's crawling his way back. That's one game. Only needs 2 more.
He's mulling to 6 on the draw. That's the formula. Tried and true.
Sounds like he's happy about it too.
Lotus is out, so he can't go Lotus, Mox.
Oh, you see the Lotus from Ben.
Right.
Oh, big boy.
That'll make it work.
All right, this will be a quick game, one way or the other.
Tanglewire.
Crucible.
Tanglewire.
I'm good at this.
How many permanents has Ben got?
Is that number equal to or less than 4?
3 is good enough for next turn. Phyrexian Revoker. Then what's the name? Is it Welder or Sapphire?
You wouldn't name Sapphire here, would
No,
you?
it doesn't name anything. It's just a permanent.
Oh no,
It's named Sapphire.
he has named Sapphire.
Interesting.
I don't think I would have done that. Just me personally.
I have no authority with any workshops deck, so
He's got
I
it. He's
don't
got the
either,
second.
really. I don't-
He's got the second Bazaar in hand, so it means that the Bazaar he has in play is just a looter right now for the first activation. You don't want that second Bazaar in play. It's Mox Sapphire.
well.
Just got the second Bazaar in play, so it's literally draw 2, discard 2. Because you don't care about that extra card you have to discard.
So I believe we're on Ben's upkeep here, waiting for a Tangle Wire trigger.
It does seem like a really standard line to play, but we know he plays 4 Goblin Welders, and that's what the deck's designed to abuse. So it's not the wrong thing to do, certainly not. And he did name it, so...
A Welder down here swaps the Revoker for a Lotus.
Yeah.
Have all the mana you would like.
Swaps the Death Rush... not the Death Rush, the Big Worm as well.
Yeah, it leaves him with 2 tokens.
2 tokens, though, yeah.
Ben's good with his academy skills. I think this is his
He's
3rd academy
seen
in
it.
4 games.
Yeah, wow.
Dan has had problems with that already tonight. He was not happy with the amount of academies that I drew. Arcbound Ravager, very powerful with Wormcoil Engine.
Yeah.
And no Null Rod. So here's our just straight draw 2, discard 2.
Once again, we've got Dan digging for a bridge, I believe.
Very powerful here with the Bazaar already in play.
Doesn't need another mana source though to cast it.
Good thing he's got a bridge activation to find it.
Yeah.
Dan just agonising on what 3 cards to discard here.
If he does still have 3 cards left over, he can elect not to discard the Bazaar, use that as his land drop because there is no Resistor or Chalice in play. If he's got his last 3 cards are Bazaar, Mox, or Bazaar, Chalice, Bazaar, Mox, Bridge, he can actually just get down to 0.
Darth, the black one is sacrifice a creature, get 4 black mana, Phyrexian Tower. And the red one gives things haste or something.
No, it's a shock. It's like 5 cost, deal 2 damage to something.
Oof. Not
Yeah.
anything compared to
Doesn't seem fair, does
the
it?
white, the green, and the blue.
White being Caracas?
White being Serra Sanctum.
Sorry.
So the enchantments, the artifacts, and the creatures.
Yep.
Phyrexian Tower, and I don't know what the red one is.
Bad.
It should be Lake of the Dead's the better kind of
Yeah.
old black land.
Yeah.
Shivan Gorge.
There is a black land that taps to add something equal to something. There's Cabal Coffers, and there's
Lake of the Dead was sacrificed.
Lake of the Dead is when it comes into play, you must sacrifice a swamp or sacrifice it. And you can sacrifice a swamp to add 4 black.
That's it.
Or something like that.
Here's part of it. We got a Mox. It's after the Bazaar activation.
3 mana, and
It's
there's a bridge.
And the second Bazaar.
He's playing Dredge, everyone.
Alright, Ben, your move.
Well, they weren't going to attack this turn anyway.
The mulligan to 6 is in fact helping the Ensnaring Bridge.
Is that tech? Super secret?
Maybe that's why he's always so happy to mulligan.
Yeah, the Mulligan to 6, yeah, right.
Crypt of Agadeem, that's the extra one I'm thinking of. Adds
That
for
was in
the
Zendikar.
for the
Creatures in your
and
graveyard.
graveyards, right?
Yeah, so obviously, as we were saying earlier, Dan wanting to bring in the 4 ensnaring bridges, this is where he wants to be. Now he just needs to find a way to dig for...
There's a Triskelion.
And
Is there enough on board for the kill? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 1 mana short currently. 1 artifact short currently of the kill.
he needs a Null Rod. So he gets 2 creatures.
This is close.
Yeah. Being able to deal 9 here, as far as we can tell, does shut off his academy, does shut off not much else.
You've just got to hold it, I feel.
Putting him on 1 means the Ancient Tomb's gone.
Sure. This is all investing in your Arcbound Ravager, and then your Arcbound Ravager's gone, and you need to find another one.
Hmm.
Wow, what a roller coaster. Is that a Crucible of Worlds in his hand?
Yeah, that's a Crucible of Worlds. So that's the 10th mana next turn. So he can deal 9 at any point.
Mm.
Oh wait, Dan's on 7.
He's already spent the 3 counters on the trike.
Okay.
Life totals are in fact accurate, yeah.
So if he sacks out the Ravager to itself,
Bear in mind
how many
here that
how many
Dan, unless
tokens
that's
does the strike get?
Only the
Before?
counters that are on the Ravager at the time.
right, he can't cast the Null Rod
Mhm.
because he'll die. He can't do anything this turn because if he activates Bazaar, he draws he has to discard whatever he draws. So Ben actually has this game. He just casts it this turn and does it all now.
Or attacks for 1 with the Triskelion as well. There it is, the
There it
handshake.
is.
3-1
Ben Hawk
Ben.
wins.
This is awesome. Congrats to the winner. Condolences to second. I think we're going to get some people in here for some interviews.
Yep. Well, I'll leave you. Good night, guys.
That's
Good
right.
It's been
You
a
enjoy.
pleasure. Thank you for the league, and a big thank you to Jimbo for organising
No sweat.
this entire league.
Josh
number
started
5.
it. I just picked up where he left off.
And we're looking forward to the next one. Be wonderful.
Alrighty, so I think we'll get the
We'll get-
runner-up in first.
All right, I'll do
Discuss
my
how he
duties.
felt, and then we can get the winner in after that.
That's right. How did you think that game went? That's not what I expected. I did expect Dan to be able to get the lockdown quicker. And I think in that last game he was unlucky that Ben had all the pieces in play.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben had a very good start in all of those games. The game with the early double thorn and porcelain
Kill Your
legionnaire,
Welder.
that was great. 75 on 75, I like Dan. But, you know, you've got to play with the cards you draw. And Ben appears to have drawn better ones this game. So,
Obscene draws.
here we are. We're in the booth. We have Dan Dowse, runner-up of the Melbourne Vintage League 5. How you feeling, mate?
A little hard done by, if I'm being honest. Like, did he have a bad draw in those 4 games?
I don't think he did. Look,
Like,
you had all the pieces. You were on the draw. You had the mulligan to 6. I don't know where it went wrong.
So your trash talk coming into this was amazing, your trash talk. How do you feel that your draws let you down?
look, to be honest, he went shop Lotus, and on the play, it's good, and he had the worm core. Like, of all the threats, that was going to be probably the biggest one I had to worry
Absolutely.
about. In game 2, I didn't see an Ensnaring Bridge. I went 20 cards deep. I bored 4 in. I felt a bit rough on that. Never once did I really threaten with a Lodestone Golem, and even the time when I swept the board with the smokestacks, he held back on Mox and a shop after countless wastelands. He'd already thrown away 1 shop.
Yeah,
and he
that,
just dropped it down on me. Like, I just couldn't get the Ensnaring Bridge there in that game either.
that game was very mana heavy on both sides.
He came at me really hard, really fast. Like, the Porcelain Legionnaire turn 1 followed up with the Revokers.
Mhm.
It's tough. You've got no choice but to ramp the stack.
Yeah, there's a full 10 2-drop threats in his deck. Which,
Yeah, I actually kept Chalices in for that reason.
Yep.
I dropped, I think, down to 3
Mhm.
because I preferred the Null Rod, because at the end of the day, I was going a prison plan.
Sure.
It was hide under a bridge, get a Null Rod in play, and that's why he scooped it up.
Yep.
He's like, oh, he's got a Barbarian Ring, he's got a Pithy Needle Naming Wasteland, I can't get him here.
We did see one out that he could have had. He could have metamorphed the needle and named the Barbarian Ring there.
Yeah, that
But,
was his only out.
And then he has to
100%.
deal with you welding out the needle. So
Well, I actually already planned an out for that.
Yeah.
I put the smokestacks up on 1, I sacrificed the Pithy Needle,
okay,
because I no longer needed it.
the wastelands can be open. Then it's fine. there.
Yep, and then I sacrificed the smokestack, so we can't metamorph that either.
Yeah, sure.
That was happening in the next 2 turns.
Yep.
I was actually going to switch the triggers so that I did have to sacrifice and cut down that window for him.
Yeah, sure.
Because a wasteland lock didn't affect me at that point because
Yeah, you
I had
both had
basic mountains.
crucibles.
Well, I
Yeah.
had basic mountains. I just keep getting back my barbarian ring and throwing it. He didn't have an out there. So.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, look, I felt a little rough on some of the draws. Maybe I kept questionable hands, but I definitely think his openers were very, very strong.
Well,
but
At
you
the end
know,
of the day, 2nd out of 29 players, that's good enough for you to get a tropical island. Congratulations.
what are these two colours?
They're not red, they're not brown.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, how do they even work?
It only taps for one. It's not very good.
You can't even get this from a Ghost Quarter, can you?
No.
Oh, these things are rubbish. Oh, and they died of Sundering Titan.
If
I'm
you don't
not
want
putting
it,
these in my deck.
I'll trade a basic mountain for it if you want.
Oh, you're making it tempting, but I don't think there's a single basic mountain that's that good.
Guru?
Even the Arabian Nights or Guru.
Judge.
Ooh, no. There's so many other ones. I don't know why people rate those so high. But no, look, Ben was a good sport. He had a smile on his face the whole time. There was a pretty good banter. He knew he was getting really good draws.
Yeah.
And he wasn't rubbing it in, which was, you can't ask for much more than that.
That's
But if you
vintage
get dealt the
sometimes.
cards and you draw them that way, then you're not going to sit there and just roll over and play dead, are you?
Yeah, well, that's it. You can only play with what you're dealt.
Yeah.
Well, our condolences, and are you coming back for the next league?
Should be. Depends what time, when it starts, what date.
22nd or sometime around then.
22nd of September or 22nd of October?
September.
I should be able to make that.
Yeah, sweet. Sounds
Should
good.
be able to make that. So, but now I've got a runner up and I've got a first under my belt, so the pressure's definitely building.
Yeah, now you got to get 3rd,
4th.
You collect them all.
I think I've been knocked out at 7th or 8th as well. So,
Yeah, right.
You know, just taking up all the
Yeah,
slots.
But it's like poker. You got to get them in a row.
Is that what I'm doing wrong? Well, okay. Well, I didn't play in the league before. I won that one, then didn't play, and now I've got 2nd. So I've got to go back to winning again, don't I?
That's it,
Or do you
yeah.
start at the bottom and go up?
It's all good.
We'll let you figure it out.
All right, thanks, boys.
No worries, mate.
It's all good.
Send Ben in. We have to have words with him.
That's all right. For those who have just tuned in, unfortunately, we have just finished the Melbourne Vintage League finals. We had Ben Hawke on Robots or Frobots, actually defeating Dan Dowes on the Mono Red Shops, and he's just coming in and he's going to flex on stream for all you people out there.
The man himself, Ben Hawke. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you feel about that match?
I was pretty scared of Dan's sideboard. Because you saw game 3, he locked me out. He's out. I kept on playing for a while, but
Yeah.
I'm actually dead. Maybe if he sacks everything to smokestack, no.
Yeah, if you're out is him playing badly, then you know.
But my draws were just incredible.
Yeah,
that
there was
ring
some very
stack
good draws.
was just unbelievable, and I don't know, that's what you have to do with shops, and it's just it's pretty impressive. Deck, I think.
Less so in the mirror matches. You know,
I guess so, yeah.
it's impressive because you have such a mana advantage, but when your opponent has the same, there's a lot more play to it.
Oh, we need to turn it on. Okay.
I
There
need
we
you
are.
to say everything you just said.
Okay. So his sideboard's very good, much better than my sideboard. I brought in a few things, but nothing really great. Like the Worm Coil is good, but not against Ensnaring Bridge. But I still thought I wanted it.
The Dismembers came in against the Welders, which were effective at least twice.
Right. So I was a bit concerned about bringing non-permanents into the game, but I'm like, I just need to deal with Welder, because otherwise,
It's trading with a permanent anyway. It's essentially
right. That's true.
the same as a wasteland.
Same
isn't
as a
it?
wasteland. That's right. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't expect it to go so well. I just drew really well, so that's.
I mean,
and
the
that's how I
deck's-
buy some wins, right?
The deck's quick. You've got a lot of 2-drop threats. You can get in on the first turn. You're a lot more likely to play a threat and a sphere.
Right, and the deck is so good, especially when you get to be on the play every time. So, because it's so good because you just spheres and thorns, and then all its threats are 2 mana, and they're like 3 power or Ravagers, which you get bigger, and then you can start sacking your thorns and cast a big thing like a Triskelion. The deck is so good. It's a bit oppressive, I think, and I think something needs to be restricted.
Yeah.
Because, and especially online, the deck is just 50% of them. Not that particular deck, but shops in general is about 50% of the meta game online. It's pretty crazy, and it's just miserable to play against. I'm sorry, I'm a monster, but that's yeah.
Well, when you're first seed for the league, you've got to do what you've got to do.
Well, see, so I had a discussion with my friend. Shout out to Tom Arthur, who suggested that I play this. He's like, you get to be on to play every game of the top, potentially of the top 8 if you win. He's like, just play Mud, just play, 13 spheres, and yeah, it's pretty. It's a miserable deck, and yeah.
Game 3, you had a potential out in with the Ensnaring Bridge lock in metamorphing his needle to name Barbarian Ring. Did you see that as a possibility?
I didn't, but I did side out Metamorphs.
Okay.
And my reasoning behind that was that if we're in a smokestack, I don't know what you call it, like a
Smokestack war.
Smokestack war, yeah, like a smokestack.
You're in an arms race with your smokestacks.
Yeah, that's right. If we're in that race, I don't want to have to copy something crappy with my Metamorph just to get a permanent on the board, and
Sure.
but that was my reason. But maybe I really didn't know how to board in the matchup. Just
Is it
boarding.
your first time playing the shops?
It's my first time playing shops.
Okay.
Yeah, which proves it's way too oppressive because I shouldn't be able to just play
up a
shops
deck
and
and-
pick up a deck and just the deck plays. Oh, you saw the in the semis I milled to 5,
Mhm.
and it's just you have
That
an Ancient Tomb and a Sphere, and the deck is just
The
really
matchup
annoying.
is very favourable.
It's very favourable. It's true, but I mean, the thing is, even against any blue deck, mulling to 5 and going turn 1 Thorn is just the worst. It's the worst feel. I've always on the other side of it. It's the worst. I hate it. So yeah, something needs to happen. But yeah, that's it. That's why I play the deck. It's just too good.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, congratulations. First
Thank you.
place. Here's a time vault for your troubles.
Awesome. Thank you very
Will
much.
we see you again in the next Vintage League?
Yes. Yes, you will.
Awesome.
Hopefully, I won't be playing shops.
One final
Something
question
sweet.
for you. Your deck choice was obviously very good tonight, but your trash talk in the forums beforehand
Was poor. Was very
was
poor.
very poor. Are you
Yeah.
going to try and step that up for the next league?
Okay, I should try, but I'm just not that witty. So I didn't want to there was all this back and forth. I'm like, man, I'm not getting involved in that because
I believe you copped some of the worst trash talk. Your
right. Rob was just
final
like
opponent. I believe he said your deck is trash and you are trash.
yeah, and he's just like you're bad at playing and your deck is bad. I'm like, well, there you go.
That's harsh words. Are you okay?
I'll cope.
Okay,
I'll cope.
this
Yeah.
is good.
You can cope with your time vault.
Yeah, I will. Time vault. All right.
But
Well-
thank you everyone for coming on. Thank you for coming in, Ben, and
Yeah, it's been
hope
great.
you had a good time. And we'll
Yeah.
see you next time, I guess.
Hopefully next time. Yeah, it's sweet.
That's all right.
All right.
Everyone, thank you for tuning in. This was the Melbourne Vintage League Finals. You just saw Ben take down Dan at the very end. It's been a great event. It's all obviously been heading in towards GP Sydney. Are you guys hoping to attend GP Sydney?
I'll be there. I'll be wearing the blacks.
You'll be wearing the
Someone's got
blacks?
to run the event.
I'm attending, but unfortunately, I'm playing Steeled. So I'm playing
right.
the main event.
Oh, you're seal clubbing again.
Big shout outs to Sneak and Show for streaming these finals for us. Big shout outs to Next Level Games in Dandenong and their stores everywhere. They've been big hosts in the league. They even supplied us with some prizes for this one. Keep your eyes peeled next weekend. There's a WMCQ, PBTQ Mox Highlander weekend. It should be streamed at Good Games Melbourne. Keep your eyes on this Twitch channel, Sneak and Show. It'll all be on there.
It will be done there during the Australian weekends. So if you're in Australia and not there, obviously tune in. If you're overseas, check out what time it is for you and tune in. We'll definitely have a bunch of people. It's going to be streamed. There'll be commentators, and that's all being worked out at the moment. But more information will be available via Twitter and such channels like that. If you haven't seen Australian 7-Point Highlander, definitely check that out because I think that's going to be the big event, at least for me.
Absolutely.
That's a big event for me too.
Yeah.
That's the best. Yeah.
And if you are interested in the vintage content here, there is always going to be. You can go onto YouTube. Sneak and Show do have a channel there on YouTube. You can subscribe to that if you want, but there definitely is. This league, the 2 previous league finals, you can see me failing with Zoo and Vintage. You can definitely see the Vintage, Legacy, and Highlander from the Vintage Masters. That was a while ago. But yeah, that's all up there. It's all been updated, and you can watch all the matches there. Other than that, it's been a great event.
Yeah.
And I'll see you all later.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.